Hello again, ladies, and welcome back. Good evening, gamers, even, and welcome back to Capping Television. It's day 2 of the Summer Brawl. You know, it's the best we can do to sort of replace LAN as best we can. We're coming to the pointy end now. We're in for the grand finals now. But before we get into any of that, for starters, for anyone who doesn't know, my name is Snazzy, or the Lampshade 20. I have with me Mr. Glugnuts. Hello.
Glug, glug, glug. Hey, man, how's it going?
Just glugging away on them nuts. and we also have Ghost with us here for analysis. He's going to be carrying us through keeping, stats. Really, I mean, I'm not mathematically minded, so it's good to have him here.
Should be interesting. Should we run through rosters, or do you think everyone knows what they are? Because these two teams have been playing pretty much non-stop day one, and obviously today.
Well, we'll run through the rosters for anyone who's new. So let me get them open myself.
I already have them open because I'm prepared.
He's a good man.
Oh man!
Well, why don't you tell us about the I believe the leading champ at the minute, Soiree? Do you want to tell us about that roster?
We'll start with Soiree being obviously undefeated through this whole tournament, pretty much. The only struggle they had was probably against Freakshow on Big Cut, which was the closest game they had throughout this whole event. But otherwise, they've been looking really strong coming into this grand final, obviously undefeated. So, yeah. Roster-wise, it is Cookie Silvo Scout, Paulson Roma, Right Pocket, Demo, and Arithmetic Lau on the side of Soiree. And then going to the side of Freakshow, obviously dropping one series against Soiree, which was that close game on Clear Cut, but unfortunately, obviously dropping the one game against on Clear Cut, but otherwise still having a pretty clean series. Their lineup going into this grand final will be Down, Dork Scouts, respectively, Thane, Roma, Connor Pocket, Daz, Demo, and Miramu XO. Two incredibly stacked lineups, and I think we're going to have a really good game into this grand final and probably have a really close series.
We do love a close series. This one is what's it, a best of?
3. Best of 3.
Best of 3. Thank God. I was worried it might be a best of 5.
Thank God there's no payload maps in there or something.
But I mean, as you sort of mentioned just then, I mean, this one should be a fairly close one. Like you said, Freakshow, sort of the closest it's come to Soiree dropping a map throughout all of the group stage yesterday. That one was on Clear Cut. Now, I know there's picks and bans going on. There's still a few bans to come. Freakshow gets the first ban, Soiree gets another, and Freakshow gets another. Oh, sorry, Soiree gets one prior to that.
They can defer it. So, and then Freakshow gets the first ban.
But are you expecting any maps to sort of be banned off right off the bat? I mean, do you think Soiree is going to take out Clear Cut just because, you know what, it's the closest we can, drop it immediately sort of thing?
They did. So, I mean, looking at map bans, nothing has actually come through yet. I'm refreshing the match page now as well. But obviously nothing has come through unless it probably came in literally 2 seconds ago. But otherwise, right now, nothing has come through. From the first best of 3 they played in the semi-final against Taylor Swift Fan Club, not Freak Show. I was about to call them Frank Show for some reason. Thank God I didn't. They did ban Clear Cut in that 3rd round. So I think we'll see Clear Cut come through as a ban. Otherwise, I think every other map, to be honest, they're capable playing. So this is, to be honest, an even playing field for for both sides, actually. So I don't think there's any weak point for any of these teams regarding maps. We'll just have to see, obviously, which team shows up today, pretty much, for this grand final. But definitely, I do see Clear Cut probably coming in as a ban for the side of Soiree, because obviously of that close series against Freak Show, and even potentially Freak Show probably banning Clear Cut, but we'll have to see, because if that map gone, there's still Sunshine, Process, Grand, Snake, Gully, Metal. Am I missing a map? I don't think I'm right. I don't think so.
I think you've covered it all.
I think yes. So that's all your standard pug maps and stuff. So all these maps, both teams are comfortable playing on. These players are all experienced and so on and forth. So I think it should be an even playing field. It'll just depend on obviously who shows up to pretty much.
Yeah, it'd definitely be one.
I'm
And
just interested to see that, everyone's already predicting on the first map before we even know what it is, man.
well,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to talk about something, and I feel like talking about the sort of bands that we might be seeing would make sense.
Yeah, definitely.
I would imagine Freakshow might try to keep in some more of those like Koth maps because they're a bit more like DM heavy, so you can get away with a little bit more.
Definitely.
So I'd imagine they probably try to hang on to those. So I don't know. It's sort of hard to get into the mind of people while they're trying to come up with their picks and bands, but I don't know. I got nothing else to talk about. I mean, everyone knows who these players are. Everyone knows what a biblical season and like over the last couple of days how well they've been playing. So it's sort of hard to. Well, I think there's a clear winner or anything,
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I think that Fane has the big advantage to do Fane things here. I mean, that's what we saw on Clear Cut mainly. Well, we're getting a replay that's not on Clear Cut, but anyway, on Clear Cut, there was a lot of really good work done by the Freak Show soldiers because they did a lot of double bombs in a lot of really good positions, pulled off a lot of really successful plays. With Soiree just sort of decide to run their face into things a lot more often and just take the team fight, which worked out pretty well for them in the end, to be honest. But I think Freak Show definitely had a bit more of an intelligent play style going into that one, which rewarded them quite a lot. So yeah.
I think going into this as well, even looking at yesterday's games, that Snakewater game was against, was it Taylor Swift? I believe it was. Yes, Taylor Swift. Yes, Taylor Swift. I think Snakewater is definitely a strong map going into this series for both teams again. So they may expand that out. Both teams probably look at Snakewater as a strong map and probably just get rid of that. Obviously being a standard pug map, but you saw what a soiree was able to do on that map yesterday, and they had I can't remember which round, but they had a really fast round against the Taylor Swift fan club yesterday on that map. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think Snakewater, again, I think is going to be up in the air. I feel like that one will be either will be let through, both teams will play, or will be banned straight out after seeing what Soiree can do on it against Taylor Swift fan club.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but I think Taylor Swift fan club and Freak Show are two. I mean, different teams, obviously, but like I feel like the way they play is probably very different. I haven't actually seen Freak Show in its current iteration, but I mean, all the names are familiar. And I feel like Taylor Swift fan club probably plays a little bit differently. I don't know how to quantify that and like give you an example, but I feel like it's hard to explain what I mean in my head, but I don't know. Freak Show plays pretty differently, I think.
Freak Show definitely did, and I think they're more DM heavy as well. Like you saw on Clear Cut yesterday, it was a DM fest basically. It was a big, not scrappy DM fight, but there was a lot of basically fights and DM battles happening everywhere. And Soiree obviously got basically pushed to limit to full round best of 5 pretty much because it's 3-2, which is basically his best of 5. So basically pushed to that final deciding round. So definitely the close game, and I think Freak definitely have a chance of this. Could obviously again go all the way. Definitely have a chance of pulling out a third map decider, but obviously what happens. I mean, regardless, it's going to be close. I don't see a roll happening. You never know what could happen on not a one-day cup, but a one-day event pretty much for the grand finals and semifinals and stuff.
I think it's going to be pretty important because I felt, especially on Clear Cut, Freak Show had seemingly a pretty decisive advantage with their heavy classes, soldiers and demo men, and how they were able to utilize them, but less successful with their scouts. Meanwhile, the scouts they're facing, especially Cookie, was a big barrier for them in a lot of situations. So that's actually something to probably take into account with the map choices. I don't know actually what all the maps on the pool were. I've completely forgotten since we mentioned them earlier, but I would expect Freak Show to actually lean towards the less scout friendly maps, I should say.
I mean, we're going to see what happens. Obviously, he is using that Force of Nature as well, which has actually gone really well for obviously the side of Soiree. And that Force of Nature is, it's 2 pump basically. I think one shot pretty much. If you land both shots onto a medic, you instantly will drop them. Basically, but the only downside is obviously you're midair. You have to remember, obviously, you can't shoot. Otherwise, I believe you stop midair or something. Is that correct? Like you just sit there.
It gives you the reverse momentum,
Or
so most
something.
times you do just stop. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you become a free air shot target in a nutshell. But I think Cookie as well, playing on Scouts, definitely done really well. And then I think a player we should definitely watch out for. I think Paulson actually has been doing very well. Obviously, I don't know if he played TF2 obviously yesterday and today, but besides that, I don't know if he actually touched the game much. I don't know, but otherwise, he's actually been doing very well for the side of Soiree. But you also do have to keep in mind as well that on Clear Cut yesterday, they were using Paulson on demo due to Enriff to make it. So I don't know if that does change anything or not, but look, regardless of it, they did win it in the end, but obviously that maybe changed some stuff, so they forced Silvo onto that, I believe onto, I can't remember what happened, Silvo onto Romo or something they did. And speaking,
he was playing Soldier.
Yeah, speaking of maps, first round, Clear Cut got banned straight away, so that doesn't surprise me at all. And then on the side of Freak Show, we do have Granary ban coming out, and I believe that's probably just due to Soldier. Basically, to stop their soldiers on the side of Soiree. They have two very good soldiers, being in Paulson and Wright. So definitely a good band coming out of Freak Show. And then we're going to have two more bands coming out from Soiree first, and then Freak Show next, which we're just still waiting for. But I think these are two very strong bands coming out for both sides. So it'll be interesting to see now what happens coming into this last round of bands.
I think these bands make sense as well because, like you said, Clear Cut's probably the closest Soiree came to dropping a map and not having like a perfect record with the group stage at least. So that makes sense to ban. And then Freak Show banning Granary also in my head makes sense because yesterday in the group stage, bro, when Soiree and Taylor Swift Fan Club came up on Granary, that was, I mean, it wasn't like a stomp, but Soiree wasn't stressed. Like, I don't see why you'd give them the opportunity to do that, do you?
I mean, I saw what happened, like a bit of an interesting game. I did probably tune in into the last 2 minutes maybe and see a pirate running out
like
a second.
It was like that the whole time, man. It was like that the whole time. So,
oh no.
I mean,
I think it makes sense.
We're going to still wait for these last bands to come out. But, I mean, Click It obviously, again, makes sense. And, again, as I mentioned, they were using Paulson on demo instead of Enriff because he couldn't make it. So I don't know if Enriff's playing would make a difference. Who knows? But regardless, as long as they get the W on that map, it's fine, regardless of how close the score was. But definitely, because I did watch the stream, well, Lau's Polv and stuff, because they were streaming it. And, like, look, after the game, I think they realized that it got really close and they had a bit of a chat and stuff. It wasn't like super stressful. As long as they got a W, it was fine.
Makes sense. I don't know. I love trying to like figure out why certain bands come in. I know a lot of people, I mean myself included, the few times I've had to actually deal with doing bands and shit. I just sort of go, yeah, Metalworks, I don't care.
Ban Metalworks, no one wants to play that. Highlander bands are a lot easier.
It's I just try to think like, when you're actually in this sort of like spot where, you pick some bands might make a difference.
Metalworks actually could be another band on the cards as well. It is a very good map for soldier bombs. So we'll see what happens. Obviously no bands have come out yet. I'm just sitting here spamming the refresh button on my MacBook because F5 doesn't work. So we'll see what happens. But I think Metalworks might be another potential band on the cards. But at the same time, I might be picked because I think both teams are pretty comfortable on it. Because now with these two maps gone as well, the other map's just now up in the air. They can pick the map and both teams will be comfortable playing on. Nothing's going to be a weakness to each other. It'll just depend if the players can obviously show up tonight. That's it.
Oh yeah, I only just noticed Reckoner's in the pool as well. Do you reckon we'd see Reckoner?
I think that might show up as one of the bands, honestly, if it's in the pool.
Yeah.
Is it actually in the pool?
Yeah, it is. I just had a look. So we've got Gully, Process, Snakewater, Metalworks, Sunshine, Product, Reckoner, and Granary. So Granary's gone, Clear Cut's gone.
Where'd you chuck Reckoner at? I didn't even see Reckoner.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, Is it there, or is that just the standard?
No.
Please
See,
no.
where's Badlands when you need it? I mean, this is what we really want to see. Come on, someone pick Badlands.
I want
Put it in the
Badlands
pool,
back.
man.
Oh, here we
It
go.
was
Here
really
we go.
good.
Snakewater has been banned out, so yeah, that is probably a safe. I think that's a good ban coming out soiree. Both teams obviously good on it, and I think it's a good safe ban coming into it. So
Yeah.
neutralize, obviously just scout. It's a good scout map, and obviously both another good soldier map. So it's good to get rid of that. So then obviously Down and Dork being two really good scouts, obviously don't have an easier sort of game, and have a very scout dominant sort of mid, and obviously soldiers as well. Denying probably. Sorry, but then obviously Wright and Paulson, their soldiers can't obviously bomb as high, not bomb as high, but obviously do some bombs and stuff. And then the same for the side of Freak Shows for their soldiers. So I think it's a good ban on the card for both teams. Like it affects them, but it's like there's still a few other maps we can play, and every other map they're comfortable playing on, pretty much. So
We're gonna end up with the process combo though, where you just do process and sunshine, so the same map twice. So
I
it's
do
a little
see.
bit horrifying.
I definitely do see process. Definitely a map possibly actually to be picked. Obviously, we're waiting for this last ban to come out from Freak Show, and then once that comes through, we're going to the picking phase. Hopefully they ban something eventually. But yeah, I think process coming out wouldn't surprise me as well. It's a very comfortable map for both teams to play.
Yeah, it's kind of God's gift to competitive TF2, isn't it? I mean, everyone's played it a million times, right?
And then you get Sunshine, which is process but with a massive pole in the middle.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Basically the same thing. Yeah.
It is. I firmly believe
And
it's
then
just the same
final
map.
ban is Gully Wash, which is, I think, a good ban for the side of Freak Show. Again, neutralizes Wright and Paulson. You can do some really massive bombs. And obviously, the DM as well. You can imagine Soiree, how the well focus fire and how good it would be. I see their scouts going crazy on the mid. So I think it's a good ban coming out of Freak Show. And now we'll get into the picks now, basically what's left. So we'll see what they opt to do. Gully Wash as well. Obviously, this is F5, and God knows what has changed. All I know is apparently it's sticky bomb spots and stuff, but obviously I, to be honest, don't care since I haven't launched this game besides yesterday to cast them today.
Of course. I think like one of the... Yeah, go for it, man.
No, you go.
I was just thinking that, one of the things is that both Granary and Gully Wash, while not as powerful as the Scouts, are known to be pretty well favoured by the demo men. So, I mean, this could definitely be a result of Enrith being put on as well, is Freak Show deciding to sort of stay away from places where Enrith will have the more dominant impact on the match.
It definitely makes sense. I was telling the... what's his name, TC Mano, in a cast earlier today. I was telling him I know someone who's currently doing a very thorough statistical analysis of all players in Oz Fortress, and he's running into all sorts of facts. And Enrith is like a pretty clear contender for like one of the best players in the region statistically. So you definitely, I mean, it's not exactly unknown that the guy's really good, but
no secret.
You would want to try to mitigate that wherever you can. So
I mean, getting rid of Gully Wash as well, you can imagine how much damage both damage, even for Daz. This is like,
I mean, Daz
Gully
rocks.
Wash.
He's great.
Yeah. You saw what he did was the semi-final against Homer. Like, he popped off. And see Gully Wash as well. Both demos, I think, have definitely a field day on that map if it was to go through, but. Obviously, it got banned, which is good, I think, for both sides. But again, there's still maps left, which obviously they're going to be comfortable playing on. So we'll see what they do opt to, which you're still waiting for these picks to come through.
I'll be totally screeching if they get Reckoner in. Hey, I can't figure out how to
show
play
us
that
Reckoner,
map.
man. Honestly,
No.
Reckoner's a beautiful map, man. You don't know the need to play it. You just look at it,
I can't stand it. I don't know what's wrong with you. It just doesn't agree with me.
You
Maybe
either
I
love
just
Reckoner
suck.
or you
I don't
hate
know.
Reckoner. There's no in between, honestly. As soon as it was released, half the community rejoiced, the other half said, this is the worst thing I've ever played.
Reckoner week and Metalworks week are 2 weeks that I want to take sick leave for, and Mr. Fish never gives it to him. Never. Get a doctor's note. Causes me undue stress, I reckon.
Just pull your modem out mid-game, and say, sorry, my internet died.
Install a proper old-fashioned lag switch,
It's a great way to get subs in mid-game as well, just pull the modem easy.
Absolutely, man.
I think it was, I don't think he's going to be too surprising. It'll be pretty standard. I'm just quickly having a look.
I reckon it'll be, it'll probably just be Process, probably Viaduct.
Viaduct's not in, but anyway.
Isn't it?
Oh, no, what?
No, the only cough map is clear cut.
Is it?
Oh, man.
I thought I saw Viaduct on the thing a minute ago. That's
Shocking.
my bad. Okay, so no
cut.
cough then. Okay. So that
It
means
was
it'll
clear
be,
cut out.
it'll be
Sorry.
Process. I was going to say Snake. Let's just be fair. Yeah,
One of the Pokemon
I reckon
got banned.
Process is in there, though. Process is surely in there.
Metalworks has been picked, which
Oh,
did
Wow.
not surprise me, actually. So this is pretty much what we expect. I think we're going to get, Metalworks, Process, Sunshine. Most likely. I think that's what's left now, pretty much. Has to be. So, this Metalworks being the first pick, going into pick by Soiree as well. This is going to be a very good map for them, I think. And again, freakshow should be comfortable playing on it. They got no issues whatsoever. But I think one thing we should keep out on that map is the soldiers, see what they can do for Wright and Paulson on the side of Soiree, see what sort of bombs they get up to. And the same for the side of freakshow, looking at Fane and Connor. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with their projectile class and see if we can get anything done initiating some sort of bombs or double bombs on mids. So it'll be a good first map.
I mean, something I'm again harkening back to my last cast with TC Mano. We were saying Metalworks is definitely a map where you can't afford to play half-half in a fight. If you are going to attack a point, if you're going to get in there, you have to be all in, because it's so you kind of get locked in. The connectors between the points are so that you have to fight. You either have to win or lose in every single fight you go on, really.
Oh, so yeah, I've
Yeah,
basically
there we go.
predicted the maps. Yeah, it's going to be Sunshine, Process, Metalworks. Sunshine, Process, Metalworks. Those are the last 3 maps left. There we go. Yeah, last map's Process.
There we go.
Literally. There's no, if you're thinking, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Who cares what they're doing? But those are the last 3 maps. So I think these are good. It's all 5 CP obviously, and all very maps for both teams. And obviously Sunshine now coming out, so basically Process with a massive pole in the middle, as I like to describe it. Again, is another map very good for the soldiers. So see obviously which team gets that high control first, and also the scouts as well. So Process, yeah, see, Process got picked. So maps for this series then will be Metalworks, Shine, and Process. We do get there. So 3 very good maps for both teams, and also a very good series as well on our hands. Yeah, I think this is not surprising at all, to be honest. When you see 4 maps rebanned and you see 3 maps remaining, it's going to be those 3.
Well, I mean, you never know. Mitch might have something weird planned, last minute drop, but...
A smarter man than me probably could have figured that out, I'm not going to lie to you.
That's why we have Ghost on analysis, They
I
don't
know,
pay us the
right?
big bucks.
And
He's
then
he's the constant force, and we just show up.
Exactly.
and obviously Sunshine and Process, 2 very standard maps, nothing too special on them. These players have both played it. Both teams have played it a million times, so I think we won't see anything too crazy. But I think one thing for sure is I think off-classing wise, I think these 3 maps or maybe not Metalworks, but Shine and Process specifically, definitely favor that off-classing if they choose to do a sniper. And I think on the side of Soiree, the player we should watch out for in that off-class department would be Cookie or Silver, actually. or even right as well. Or these three players can flex into that sniper role, or even go spy, but mainly sniper and try go for a med pick or some sort of pick. And then for the
See that
side,
Silverdock spy pick again. Come on.
I think it'll be Silvo off-classing if it's anyone, right?
And then for the side of Freakshow, you got Down and Dork, who both can off-class really well into that sniper role. And then I think we'll see Dork potentially snipe some sniper stuff, because he did some crazy stuff in that last semi-final game I saw against Homer. So see what sniper shenanigans he can pull out. But obviously the first map, probably shouldn't talk about Sunshine and Process just yet. We'll go into Metalworks. So this, again, as I said before, favors both teams quite well.
Metalworks is an interesting map. I mean, it's
That's
been
one word
around.
for it.
Yeah, it's been around forever. But Australia, I mean, or Ozfortress, we've sort of been slow to embrace it. I mean, I remember playing it eons ago and deciding I didn't like it then. But now that it's in like the actual map pool, I mean, we'll be seeing a lot more play. I have not been on this map since I got a new computer, and it actually looks really good, man. That's wild.
Not as good as Reckoner, but
Not as Reckoner.
But it plays very differently to a lot of other 5CP maps, I think.
Definitely does. And then also that there's a lot of areas as well where you can do some really nice soldier bombs and stuff as well, especially in that valley area. You jump off the ground and you jump the wall, and you can go for a nice strafe in and potentially get the med pick as well. And then holding these choke points, so we'll see how they opt to push through them, these doorways. They are very annoying to push through. So we'll see what they opt to do as well. And it's very you're going to get spammed a lot, please. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. And I think Spy as well works quite well in Metalworks, I think, because sniper sight lines as well are quite hard to do unless you go for some sort of hero shot. And if you get obviously hit, then good for you. But otherwise, I think Spy is definitely a lot easier on this map. But we'll see what the teams opt to do.
While we've got a moment here, I've been told to plug something, so I might as well get that going. For everyone watching, just a little bit of a sneak peek before the post even goes up properly. Ozfortress Season 33, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming on. We got some lovely artwork by Jen that I believe Mitch should be flashing up on the stream shortly. And you can see there, if you just go to ozfortress.com, you'll be able to sign up for that one. The sign-ups are open on the 16th of January. That's today.
Yes.
Today. As of the end of tonight, I believe, close of business, the class. And they'll run
basically
all the way
as soon
through
as the
to the
stream ends,
26th.
sign up.
So you'll have a week and a bit, 10 days to sign yourself up. But, mate, I'm looking forward to getting absolutely drilled in the main division this coming up season. So, yeah, it should be good.
Well, I mean, you think so, It's an opportunity and a half at least.
33 seasons. Nice.
Yeah, 33 is that's a big number, bro.
I mean, okay, that's when you tell how many seasons you've been playing for Snazzy. And what was your first season?
I think it was 9.
It's back with the single digits. Now it's 33. Yeah. How old do you feel right now?
Very. Very. I mean, I'm not even the oldest bloke around, man. And I'm still, awful, too. I have no excuse to feel, old.
It's a lack of experience, clearly.
Yeah.
I've already stopped playing TF2. And last time I launched to play physically, I looked at my logs, was August last year, and I never launched it again because I started playing Tarkov.
Tarkov ruined your life, man.
It was a fun game. It was realistic. It was actually something to do, but then they changed the game really bad and I gave up and I stopped playing it. So now I just do IRL or I just sit here and watch YouTube and Netflix. Wow, good life.
Yeah, I mean, I just spent a bunch of money on a new computer and I started playing Realm of the Mad, which is like a top-down 8-bit bullet hell. I got a 3080, bro. What am I doing?
Let's be honest, buying a 3080 to play TF2 isn't that much different.
It's not that much better, is it?
No, not really.
No, you can play TF2 in Ultra Graphics if that's even a thing.
I've got them up as high as they go, and I'm getting 500 FPS. It's crazy.
You just need new sort of not max FPS configs, but max graphics configs now. You know.
Well, you actually have to. Hey, I haven't touched my config for eons, man, and it was messy trying to figure it out with a bit of graphics. But now that we've talked about Lost Fortress Season 33, I've lamented how old I am and talked about spending money. What do you reckon your predictions are for this this map here? Ghost, you got any thoughts on which one's going to be taken?
Look, both teams, it's going to be a close to fair regardless. Unfortunately, I will lean with Soiree just because they do actually have obviously have a more experienced lineup. Everyone on the team has one prem for multiple seasons. But obviously not saying Freakshow is a bad team. All those players are very experienced prem players, have top 4, top 3 multiple times. But yeah, Soiree I feel like we'll take this first map. Score-wise, I'm going to lean for 4-3, potentially. It's going to be a close game regardless, 4-3 or even like a 2-1. So Soiree will take this first map. Yeah.
Have you got any thoughts, Mr. Glugnuts?
Well, I mean, I got money on this match, so I'm gonna have to say that it's Freakshow gonna take it. I think, given that this is Soiree's map pick, but honestly, I think this could be a case where these teams are just so experienced with so many good players that I honestly don't think any of them really has the edge, regardless of map pick. So I think it could still go Freakshow's way, but I think it's still going to be a close one, maybe 4-2.
I'm actually with you on this one. I think Freakshow could take this. I mean, the players on that team are a bit nuts. A bit nuts. And I think if Dork pops off, if Down pops off, if Daz pops off, I mean, pretty much if any of them pop off properly, I reckon Freakshow can take it. But I'm open to the concept of Soiree shutting this one down. You know, I've seen them do it on every other map ever, but we'll have to see.
Looking at it, everyone's look at Soiree on. I mean, you know, the whole game is very experienced, so you can imagine. Yeah, very composed despite the situation. So I feel like you have that coming into this, obviously, and not saying the team of Freakshow isn't experienced, but they don't have not as much experience, but like don't have as much combined experience, I guess, as team of Soiree. So yeah. We'll see what happens, but regardless as well, it's going to be a close affair. We're just waiting for... Well, we don't have an STV yet, do we?
I'm actually in it, so I can send that on through to you.
Oh.
In the meantime, I might, while we sort that out, I might just say, with the Twitch predictions, for anyone who wants to just crowdsource their opinion on how this one's going to end, there's been $22,000 dues shoved into the pot on that bad boy. And it's 91% predicted that Soiree takes. So,
man, when Freakshow wins this, I'm getting so much money, honestly.
Oh man, I can't wait to roll in the shekels. Let me tell you.
This is how we get paid, you know.
What is it?
It's how we feed our families.
Oh Jesus, that's what we call dollary dues. I didn't realize that's where you got from.
Yeah, dollary dues. One. We'll go with. I don't know. I'm not clever enough to understand engaging with the viewers. Sometimes I read the chat and then I call someone.
Don't get too close to them. You might catch something.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, they're filthy, right? They're gross,
disgusting.
But we wouldn't do it without them, would we? So. I mean, I owe them that much, right?
Owe them something, you know. Without them, we wouldn't be winning so many dollary dues in this bet, you know.
Oh man, one of these days they're going to vote me best caster. It's going to be so rewarding.
Hey, I got one for Main last season, I think. So there we go.
You? Hell yeah!
Yeah. Well, 1 or 2 seasons ago. No, I didn't cast any Main matches, but I still got one.
It is what it is.
So you can imagine the fury in their faces when they realize this is all rigged, and that's how we get our money.
Oh yeah, I know, right? But yeah, final predictions. I mean, I'm going to say. I mean, I think it's going to be like 4-3 to Soiree, but I hope Freakshow surprises me, man.
I'm still leaning Soiree in the same score I said, 4-3, 2-1. Obviously, we do have all 6 players, so we're just waiting for them ready up. And then Luggnuts, are you still sticking with Freakshow?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Freakshow. I always got to back my boy Fane.
Someone has to, man.
Awesome.
Apparently the chat won't, so.
Yeah, so I'll have to do it. All the hard yards.
9%, guys? 9%? Are you kidding?
Come on. 9% for Fane, no Fane, no win. That's just a fact.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
I hope they ready up soon, because I'm running out of sweet nothings to whisper into chat's ear. I'm not going to lie to you.
You haven't even bust out the
Do have a
anecdotes
ready
yet. Come on, man.
coming in side of Freak Show, so it should be soon starting. We're just waiting for the final preparations, I guess, for the side of Soiree.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Come on, soiree. Here we go. So, for anyone just tuning in, a quick little plug. This is Capping Television. This is the Capping Television Summer Brawl 2022. It's the best we can do. There's no land still. None of us want to die for Team Fortress. You're watching the grand finals. It is Soiree and Freak Show. The first map is Metalworks. It's a best of 3. And we're going to have to see if the underdog can take it. Luggnuts, tell me about it.
Well, I mean, one of the demos already going down a little bit low, but a lot of position being taken by Soiree early on. Freak Show's not out of it yet, though. Contesting by the soldiers, big double bomb wipes out Nurmo on the medic. Oh, this is already looking pretty good for Soiree, but they do lose 2 players for that one. 3 players down on the side of Freak Show, though, but they're striking back. It's just Down and Daz left against Silvo and Enra. So this is the 2v2.
Oh, Daz can get
Silvo there. Oh, unfortunately, Enra's got the big pack, so he's going to take a lot of position on this point now and probably lock out Daz.
I mean, he's taken the big pack, but he did take a roller on his way back in. Daz looks like he wants to make something happen here, but it's definitely dangerous for him. He's got some pipes across. He nearly takes out Enra. The point still hasn't been capped, and I think we're going to see mid-fight 2 Electric Boogaloo. Because it looks like both teams are preparing themselves to wander straight back in. It does look like the what are they called? Freak Show have a bit of a better position, but I'm unsure how this one will.
Freak Show were definitely a lot happy to commit to that one a lot earlier, even though their players got there roughly the same time. Soiree was just a bit hesitant there, and Freak Show the advantage. Now they have the mid, but it's even Ubers as well. So, I mean, you know, Metalworks isn't actually a map that's sort of super known for its stalematy positions, and it looks like Freak Show definitely don't want to let it get to that stage. They have been going in super aggressively. Demo went really low. Fane's still alive at this. They've lost a scout. They have killed a soldier for that and pushed them all the way out of second. They picked up Riot as well, so, you know, that's a really good play for them. They might pick up a scout as well. Unfortunately, they lose Fane, but yes, they do pick up Silverdox there, so 2 for 2. Or a third that they killed earlier, but anyway, they've gotten second out of things, so it's looking really good for Freak Show's aggressive plays at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely showing up to the match, and we do see Dork, I believe, up on Sniper nice and early as well. So, I mean, Metalworks is kind of really hard to push through lobby with like an equal situation like this. So, I think him coming up on Sniper shows that, you know, this team, they were saying, okay, we'll make things happen when we get there. And they knew that was going to be the thing right off the bat. Because he came up before they even capped second.
That's one thing that Freak Show always shows in these matches against Soiree so far, is that Freak Show has shown that they've got a plan. So they're taking a very short amount of time to make their decisions and moving really decisively into things. Meanwhile, Soiree just seems like they're kind of just playing it. Now, of course, the players on Soiree are just that good, so maybe they don't exactly need a plan to win this match, but it definitely looks like the early dominance is in Freak Show's favor.
I mean, Freak Show are making things happen. Dork did take out Paulson there with I think it was a body shot followed up by Paulson shooting himself, which I won't comment. But we did see Riot go down very low as well while Paulson was still spawning. There we go, another frag onto Paulson. And I mean, it's one player out. It's really, I don't think they're going to be pushing off that. They seem to be playing safe enough to not need to worry about a push here. But I don't know. They're making things happen. They're trying to, at the very least, keep the pressure on, and they're keeping it on well.
Cookie does have a sentry up now, though. It is getting spammed a little bit, but it's so far away. Fane goes in for a bomb, wiped out by the sentry gun. Yeah, this last is such a hard one to bomb onto, but now they have a soldier down and a sniper. Soiree can probably smell some blood in the water. Depends if they decide to keep the sentry gun up or not, how well they're going to be able to poke out of this. Look like they're kind of trying to go for the poke anyway.
Yeah, Cookie does respawn on Engineer, but I think they're fairly confident, I know, with that. Sniper that maybe they can get away with just pushing with 4 men, no heals or something. We do actually see Paulson. He's like in behind. He does get caught out and goes down. So that's 1 player ad for Freakshow here. And I think if Dork can get a good shot in through the edge there, the Wonder Kid, no. They've seen him there now, and they're going to be throwing a lot of damage his way. He's not going to be able to make anything.
Soiree's adaptive positioning here has actually been really good for this last, because Paulson has been dying quite a lot, but Soiree understands that he's a pretty disposable player in this situation. Because even though they've got the Aroma being killed quite a lot, the sniper peeks from Dork aren't really doing too much about it, because these players are just so good at rotating onto the position he's peeking from and stopping him from getting any decent shots at one of their more important players.
He goes for the hero shot though. He walks straight through the main there, maybe just sacking to get off sniper. It's a bit hard to tell without getting into his brain there. We do actually see Silvo in very, very deep as well. It looks like he might go down. Does get out by the skin of his teeth. There's a lot of fighting going on, but nothing really happening just yet. Freakshow standing out on that second point. They're playing it very well defensively to sort of like stop it. I mentioned earlier, I hate all of the connectors between the points on this map, and I think this huge convoluted lobby sort of slows you down trying to push out as well as pushing in. But Silvo with a massive snipe onto Connor on pocket there. It's nice and big. Might get things moving.
Unfortunately, you still have to go through so much space into a team that's holding, on point. Right in on the medic, though. Only 1 scout to hold them off. The other scout does show up just in time. Mirimu goes low, but does escape with his life. That's going to force Soiree to go back to last with this. But I mean, sacking 2 players and having a sniper up, this is an opportunity for Freakshow to push if they want to do it. Unfortunately, Silvo getting that headshot on Dork might spell the end of any dreams that may have had there.
Silvo's nuts, man. He took out Daz in the middle of all that fighting as well. And we do see a nice big bomb out at Paulson, who does get taken down by Dork in the middle of all that. Fane going in for a quick sack. He does clean up Silvo, but that's going to be it. The gun's still up on last, though, and they do know where that is now. So, I mean, Connor's in for a nice big jump as well. He gets skyboxed a little bit, but he hits the rocket. He gets the force. Lau forced on the last there. So if Mirimu can hang on to his Uber, this is going to put him in a very good spot. The moment Connor spawns, they can sort of just like throw themselves straight into the point.
Yeah, it's going to be a really difficult hold for Soiree to pull off. But I mean, there's one of the points you can do it on. This one is not an impossible one. It was a good choice for Freakshow there to go for that sack once Soiree lost 2 players. They were being a little bit too frivolous with their lives there. Now they've got to hold off this full Uber advantage. But there's a sentry gun, has been moved, and the Uber has come in.
Yeah, the Uber comes through. The sentry hasn't really been dealt with just yet. Finally going down after they lost 3 players in the midst of all that Uber. They lose a 4th, Daz going down, Mirimu and Fane to follow up, and that's a fantastic hold from Soiree, man.
Yeah, just didn't they move with the sentry gun was a really smart move from Cookie, because Freakshow pushing in had no idea where it was until it was too late. And unfortunately, they managed to drop just too many players while they were pushing into that, so didn't have enough players for the post-Uber fight. And with the sentry still there, just not a good position to be in. This is actually going to give a lot of momentum to Soiree as well, because not only do they have, this great forward momentum already capping midpoint, but they have such a massive Uber advantage as well.
It is an unreal advantage, and it does get used into that lobby area through the lower pit. They pick up Connor and Fane, but I think those 2 were left behind specifically to force. So I'm pretty sure Freakshow's kind of happy about that scenario, I'm not going to lie. But we'll have to see if they can hold up this momentum as the team pushes straight on through. Riot comes in, hits a nice big midi onto Daz, but it's not quite enough to make him die. Silvo getting in nice and deep, cleans up the heavy. There's a scout on the point already, no one's there to deal with. And that's going to be all she wrote for that round.
I mean, Soiree, that force there is not a situation they would have been happy in. They decided to roll it into last anyway. That was a situation where Freakshow should have absolutely had them. But unfortunately, I saw 1 scout chasing the medic at just the wrong timing, just not enough players really focusing on the point. They were thinking it was a, multiplayer sack rather than a push for the point, and that really came to bite them in the backside.
Just one of those things. I mean, you roll the dice, you play your 50-50, and you did it wrong, It is what it is. We see a nice big bomb out of Riot in the beginning of this mid, right onto Mirimu. Not much happening there just yet, but Mirimu does go down when some other players come in nice and deep. Fane's in really deep as well, and that all ends up in a medic and a demo for an entire team, which I think is a pretty good trade.
Definitely a pretty good trade. One thing that I've noticed with Freakshow, though, is that they're not being ridiculously successful in preventing these soldiers from getting onto their players. They're cleaning them up pretty quickly once they're on top of the medic, but the fact that the soldier actually gets there, gets to do some damage, gets to fire some rockets. Meanwhile, Soiree is doing a pretty damn good job at keeping all the soldiers away from their valuable players in situations that aren't straight-up team fights.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you mean, but I don't know. I think. Oh, dude, that rocks.
I saw that.
Oh my god. But yeah, I think it's all going to come down to like how these guys do actually clean him up, because Miramu's not taking a lot of damage. I think from his own dodging and then the quick cleanup, it's all working out. But they have had to back pretty much straight on out into the second point. They do clean up Riot. Miramu hitting a pretty beefy surf to get away from a very beefy rocket.
I mean, yeah, Freakshow actually got, that advantage capping the mid, but unfortunately they weren't able to convert to second. Even then they lost second, so now they're on their own second. Even Ubers though, so we're back into a pretty static situation here. Freakshow were able to convert from second pretty easily last time they pushed it. This time Soiree is going to have to try to pull off the same thing, and sure enough, the players are they're looking to reposition somewhere. But Soiree seems to be taking a little bit longer to really decide what they want to do here. Unlike Freakshow has been making their decisions pretty rapidly, Soiree's, taking their time. They're not really feeling that big rush, especially since they have a round up.
I mean, when you're a round up, I mean, I know it's already been 10 minutes, which it's already been 10 minutes. I suppose you can delay a little, but you're not going to be going too busy. There's a bit of fighting going on. A scout down for either. We do see Paulson stuck behind there as well. Cookie taking out Fane. I believe that was a bit of a sack as well. So it's 2 for 2. Better spawns on the side of Soiree, and they're sending Riot in really early. I don't know if he's just grabbing attention though, because he's back straight on out. So I think we're just going to be seeing another bit of a reset, but they're trying to poke things. They're trying to make things happen here.
And we'll see if something does end up happening. Of course, these soldiers exchange for each other. They're some very good sackers, so at some stage something's going to give. It just depends on which team has the better defense in this scenario. Especially because Soiree doesn't really have that much pressure to make something happen here and just go super into it. Because, like I said, they are a round up. Looks like they're going into it anyway with a 2-man sack and demo-man pressure. They've already taken down one of the soldiers. They've got one soldier behind and another fight happening below. This counter-sack from Fane doesn't work, runs into Cookie. Silverdox gets cleaned up behind, and that might actually, positionally-wise, push out Freakshow to last.
I mean, Freakshow did get pushed to last, but they did throw Connor right at the start of that into that, what do you call it, like the alley on the right there. Oh, I'm so sorry. The alley on the right there. And they got the force on Lau nice and early, so it actually remains more or less even with Silver up on. I mean, we've seen him hit some just gross shots already. So, I don't know if it's... it might be kind of dire straits for Freakshow here. They're sort of relentlessly being pushed back, slowly but surely.
Silverdox on the sniper as well isn't really something that you want to go against. We'll see if he managed to have more success than Dork did or not. The Ubers actually came out during the last fight, and I did not see that at all. The Ubers coming out in the last fight. Of course, they're all built back to 100 now, but I completely missed where they exchanged.
They were sort of both like forced pops, like they needed to or they would have lost sort of job. So I don't think either of them really got much done aside from preventing death, and it still ended up with Soiree on the upper ground, I guess.
Righto. Well, I mean, Freakshow hasn't really had much happen to them for this hold so far. They have the sentry gun up in the same situation that Cookie had, or at least one of Cookie's positions. Big soldier bomb coming in, double soldier bomb, going for Connor and the engineer. Doesn't manage to really pick up anything. Yeah, that's disastrous for them. Yeah, there was just no real... It didn't seem like it was really a target for that one. They ran into the central gun as well as losing Silvo, so, that's going to give a big opportunity for Freakshow to push out of this. They'd like to play this aggressively so far. Unfortunately, losing 2 to Cookie there is going to completely blunt that push.
Dude. Oh, thank God. Daz really had to hit that shot there, and now it's 3 frags the other way, losing down Connor and Fang. It's going to be very, very dangerous for the fellas here on Freakshow. They do have that gun up, but Paulson's there to spam. He has been bullied out, which is going to give them just enough room to get it back up to full health. But they know where it is. You can surely work around it.
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't look like he's planning on moving it like Cookie did, so, this is something that they'll have planned for. Silverdog's not on Sniper, though, so you expect them to do a little bit more aggressive plays so far. Soldier is in, didn't get anything, maybe killed that other soldier. Yes, he did kill Connor there. Fortunately, popped them up enough, but they lost 2 soldiers for just 1. Not really a good position for them to be in.
Yeah, I think Riot was intending to spam that gun from the far left side when you're attacking, and just kind of stepped a little bit too far forward, took a bit much damage, got taken out. It's just one of those things, I suppose. But the spawns are coming through. They haven't really been able to make anything happen while these spawns have been happening. They did just clean up Dork on Engie, though, which means they've cleaned up the gun. Riot's in very, very deep, gets the force off of Miramu through Riot's bomb and a little bit of damage from some other players. No force out of Soiree. This is grim for freakshow.
Definitely very grim. I mean, last time we saw a last push, it was a full wipe on defense. Last time we saw a fully bred last push, but the teams have been reversed. Now we'll see how it goes. But you already have another sentry being set up and a pyro as well. Maybe just while the sentry's being set up to prevent it being spammed out. But Soiree can definitely take a little bit of time here. They don't want to take too much time. Don't let them get too established. And sure enough, they use it now.
Yeah, the Uber comes on through. They've sent Cookie and Paulson to the point nice and clean. A lot of defense there to clean them up, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Players going down left, right, and center. It's really hard to tell who's going to be winning on this fight. We do see Dork and Dan fighting on the point, but totally just not quite enough to really make it happen on that point. I mean, it's a difficult point to defend with that wall there, hey?
It's so hard to kite the Uber in spawn or anything, because if you try to get out of it, you're just staying away from the point, and they can just play that, use the pressure, and cap it up. So definitely a rough situation for freakshow to be in, but they have been showing pretty good success on these mids so far. We'll see if they can continue with their dominance.
Yeah, freakshow have definitely been fairly dominant. They take that red crate nice and early. We do see a nice big high bomb out of Riot. No one's there to collect him. There is another bomb out of Connor as well. Miramu actually does go down in the midst of all of that. Lau has died as well. I think we missed that one happening. But it does look like Spyro are going to be taking this one directly to the bank. Daz, the only player left alive. He's just bailing out on second, and I don't blame him at all.
Not a situation we're in. Glaz clean up a player chasing him though, cleaning up Enrith, so that's going to be a pretty good way for freakshow to sort of maybe establish themselves a little bit better on this defense. They maybe don't have to give up second here, because pushing with no demo is not a fun thing to happen. As long as they find Paulson, they do, but unfortunately cleans up Fane. Such low health though, does get finally cleaned up, which should give freakshow a pretty good hold on second, unless Soiree makes something happen fast here.
I mean, freakshow look like they want to take this dry while there's some players in that lobby there. I mean, it's a good choke to get some damage in. I don't know, it's very dangerous. We're seeing a bit of a face-off there. freakshow deciding, okay, you know what? We're going to lose this one if we keep taking this fight. We're going to just keep sinking heels in. And they backed off a little bit. So
freakshow have been happy to sort of take a very aggressive position here so far. They shouldn't be too unhappy holding the second here, because given how they've been playing, they do have a coin flip chance to get through this. Huge bomb in from Riot, and and for Paulson as well. Riot gets cleaned up. Paulson does manage to get out alive though. The counter sack actually manages to get Silvo as well, so Silvo for Connor, not the worst position for them to be in. They're one player up, and the Uber has been forced though.
They're in nice and deep onto Lau, and they get a few flashes out of them as well, which is going to make this Uber a bit less disastrous for them. They have lost Daz and Fane. They've probably down will get out. He manages to bail through that lower area. We do see Dork actually going in. Is he going for a bit of a frag? I think he's going for a bit of a frag. But yeah, I mean, it was a big grim for freakshow. I think
Dork is just going for the tilt Paulson play.
I think he's going to make it happen too.
Silver's coming to save Paulson right
Silver's
as well.
Dork still hasn't taken damage in all this time. Ah, finally, the Silver chips in. My lord.
The fact they sent 3 players back.
We do see Daz and Connor clean up Riot and Oscar. That's really, really big. Lau's now very, very low as well. He goes down. Dork coming through, absolutely clutch on the back end. Silvo on the last though, absolute race to the finish to stop. Okay, that's good. They've wiped the entire team, and they've held on to it, and they're capping second. It's what could possibly go wrong?
Everything snazzy. Everything could go wrong.
I've said it
Especially
now,
now
haven't
that you've mentioned it. You've said it. Anything that happens from now on is your fault. Seeing mid-fight 3 now. Or mid-fight, 5? What count are we up to?
I think we're up to mid-fight 15 or something. I'm not sure.
Close enough. Maths is never our strong suit, you know. We're just casters, humble casters.
Humble caster. Very humble. That's why we love to listen to ourselves talk for hours on. We do see freakshow pushing through that alley, popping the Uber, getting onto that second point, but they haven't really achieved very much with the Uber just yet. They do clean up Oscar. One of the what is that? It's the demo man for soiree. So what's Enric? My lord, I'm struggling today, aren't I?
It's a hard job, Snazzy. It's a hard job.
Someone has to do it, mate. Someone has to do it. The Uber comes back from Loud. Again, not a lot happening.
A lot of low players on the side of, or there were a lot of low players on the side of Soiree there, but unfortunately weren't able to convert the frags as well as Soiree was, so that's going to give a pretty good forward pressure for Soiree now. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of freakshow players hanging around pretty forward. They don't want to give up this middle point, so it's going to be a pretty dangerous full out of walk forward into this with just so many players hanging around looking for something, but no, it looks like freakshow decides to pull out with their team intact.
I mean, obviously, freakshow knew they had a little bit of ad there. I think they were hoping it would work a little bit better than it did for them. But they do have that 90% now. They're going through the drop down into Valley, and now they're looping back around, I guess, reacting to that soldier behind them. Paulson back there. He finally does go down. Riot bombing in, gets a nice big force. Daz does manage to clean him up, but I think Soiree will be absolutely cheering about that one.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of maybe a bit either premature for freakshow for their push, but I mean the ad was dwindling. Meanwhile, Soiree just had the right players in the right position to shut that down before it even started. So they lost a lot of players for it, lost the midpoint, but they have the Uber advantage. They didn't even lose the midpoint. They managed to get back soon enough to stop it from being taken, which means freakshow is the one who's going to have to be pushed back to last year. They're in a disastrous situation because they're going to need to force Soiree for taking this point. Taking down Riot's going to be a good start to that one, but they can't let Soiree take this without using their Uber, otherwise they have a free shot at last.
Yeah, it's definitely really, really dangerous, and I think that's why they're throwing so many players. They do clean up 3 of them, but they don't manage to get the force. They finally do! Dork managing to walk straight on through, get the force on Flower. They're now on 60%, be about 70 by the time the Uber runs out, 65. This is actually pretty good for freakshow. Riot's down really, really low as well. He goes down. If they can catch up to Lau here, they might be able to push with full heal ad. Nah, they reject that concept. They just commit to capping the mid.
Demo ad, or maybe not demo ad. No, he got forward, so no demo ad, but a player ad and Uber ad is a pretty decent situation for them to be in. I'd be surprised if freakshow didn't manage to get second off this, but now Soiree's in the exact same position they were in. They have to try to force them here, otherwise they could be losing their last as well. See how successfully they managed to do it. Freakshow, of course, pulled it off quite well. Losing one of the scouts, their Dork, isn't going to be a great way to push this one, but they got it for Paulson as well, and have already pushed Soiree to last. This is now such a dominant position for freakshow if they move super quickly. Otherwise, they can just wait for the Ubers to even equalize. Looks like they're going to do that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if I was them, I'd say drop that, don't bother. Connor goes in, Fane follows up with a bomb of his own. It looks like they're trying to get onto Loud. Oh, that was darn close, man. If Loud didn't do that old Reese up there, it would have been horrific. He would have gone down. But they do lose those 2 soldiers, and it's a bit of a reset. They do have both their scouts here now, which is damage that, you definitely want. Daz managing to clean up Silver as well, giving them a tiny little bit of an ad, having one get where they did not. With all the respawns coming through, they're actually in a pretty good spot to push here, it looks like.
Fortunately, it looks like they're delaying it just too long. By the time they get in, Silverdox is going to respawn. So it looks like they're just planning on going for a sack and going back and resetting. Honestly, interesting to see freakshow not opt to go for the more aggressive option, especially since there's only 6 minutes left and they're 2 rounds down.
I mean, I'm not totally surprised. I think in this sort of scenario, you want to play it as safe as possible. I think that's what they're doing. I mean, yeah, they're already 2 rounds down, but they know if they swing the momentum around here, I mean, it's thoroughly reasonable to bring 2 quick rounds and then just keep on playing from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's they got right down now, so they're going forward again. This is the use now. Exchanges has happened. Silverdog's gone down so low, being cleaned up by Daz. This is a big opportunity for them. They have player advantage. Daz, however, dying in that, and Mirmo as well. This is looking now disastrous for them. Brad's coming out on both teams, but it's looking to favour Soiree. Just door clear, and yeah, he's been cleaned up on the point. So, I mean, Freak Show deciding to not push the 2-player ad and then push a 1-player ad, or well, do a sort of dry push even, so it didn't quite work out for them. They're going to have to be sent back to mid with an Uber disadvantage as well. They're going to have to start picking their feet up because it's 5 minutes left. Sure enough, especially for these teams, you can get 2 rounds pretty quickly, but I mean, you can't guarantee that, and the more seconds tick off, the better it looks for Soiree.
Yeah, and they've leapfrogged the ad straight on back over into being in Soiree's favour as well. I don't know if Soiree's really going to be pushing with it. It looks like they're intending, but it's really going to be quite grim for freakshow if they don't make something happen. They do clean up Silvo right before that Uber begins, but Enrith jumps straight on in and murders Miramu, just absolutely murks the dude. But Soiree is actually looking very low on health here. They lose their med down onto Cookie there. He's trying his very best to make that happen. Enrith managing to get the melee kill onto him, but it is a wipe in the end with Connor Fane and Dad able to cap this second point here. 4 minutes left on the clock. Can you smell the tie?
I can smell something. I don't know if it's a tie as such, but you know, are you sure you showered today, Snazzy?
What?
This is some smelly TF2, I'm telling you that. Fane is in behind at the moment, did move forward, trying to go for something, doesn't quite get it. This is going to give a big opportunity for Soiree to retake the ground. And now we've got less than 4 minutes on the clock, so Freak Show really got to make something happen. Their opportunities so far have been dwindling, and 2 players down holding mid with even Ubers isn't really a good position to be in.
Especially missing your demo, which has given Soiree enough room to sort of just push straight on through. We do see Lau go very, very low. Connor was in behind him, but it wasn't quite enough to make anything happen. 3 minutes 20 on the clock now. Uber's evening up, and they're down a play. Freak Show, they need to make something happen here, man.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta go for something. The risk gauge is cranked to max. They're gonna have to do some pretty crazy pushes to get things swinging in their favor, because with 3 minutes left, you now have to start wondering, against a team like Soiree, can you even equalize unless everything, the stars align and everything goes perfectly for your team?
It's definitely looking very, very dangerous for Freak Show. Yeah. Dork actually pushing through that alley area, creating some room for the rest of his team, who then push on through behind him. They're taking that middle area. They've gotten the Ubers out from both teams. Dad's actually dying in the middle of that Uber. Definitely going to put him on the back foot. They're having to flee here, down in behind. He's caught in amongst the rest of the team there. It does look like he might go down. He does get the pack, but he does go down. Silvo going down to Connor in the meantime, which might bring things back around. But, dude, Freak Show, they're just going to have to keep fighting here and hope to make something work. 2 minutes 16 left on the clock. I mean, mathematically, it's still possible, yeah?
Yeah, definitely still possible, I think, especially because they're not on last. However, it's getting very tight. They'd have to cap mid basically right now, and losing Daz at start, that's not the best way to do it. However, Enrith goes down as well, so, you know, he who dares wins. Fortune favours the bold. And if Freak Show are bold enough here, then they might have an opportunity to pull this off in a golden cap.
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible. We do see Freak Show able to push straight on into that mid area. Daz just rolling out now, trying to catch up behind. Minute 30 left on the clock. If they're able to get some more damage onto Lau, Fane managing to make some stuff happen, but not quite enough. Shot, though. Yeah, no. And the spawns coming out of forwards there, oh my lord. They end up having to use in that alley area. It's a nice big solo. They do get the force out of Lau. This might be their golden opportunity, because they're still staying very aggressive with that Uber. As it fades, they lose their med for, and the rest of the team come in and clean up. It's looking like that's a big fat no.
Now with only 1 minute left on the clock, I don't think it's physically possible anymore, unless they're already capping last now.
Yeah, I don't know the timings for Metalworks, but I think it's a little bit of a longer time than most maps. So yeah, I mean 40 something. So I think that's it. There may be a vanity round in the making, though. I mean, Soiree looking like they do want to try for that round. We see a bit of a very, very scrappy fight going on in the blue lobby area into second net, and it's a bit gross. I think they've wrapped around each other at this point, haven't they? That's the blue second, isn't it?
Yes,
oh, dude, the Uber comes out. That's gross. Oh my lord. The Uber comes out of Soiree. They're getting blocked by I didn't know you could do that.
No, did I?
That's great.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah, it's just a couple frags. They're going to be able to cap the second point. Oh, no. Round it. And that's going to be that. That's 2-0 to Soiree. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised, but, you know.
I've lost everything.
But yeah, take us through the logs, Ghost, because I know you had been paying quite solid attention to all this.
I do have the logs already open on my end, and one thing that stands out is Cookie going 31 for 9 with 288. He definitely had a really good game during that series. But yeah, again, what I highlighted as well during the pre-game before this as well, that mid, we did see those soldier bombs come out of the mid, which actually worked well for both teams, these really high soldier bombs, because I don't believe none of their medics actually lived from any of the mids, correct? I didn't see from what I saw.
No, not a single mid.
Most of the Ubers were pretty much even, and even if as well as that, both meds actually didn't die a whole lot, to be honest. But then, for the side of Freakshow as well, a lot of his last push, the second last push they had actually, definitely was a mistake. I think it was down, but someone did get dropped, unfortunately, during that last push. And that actually, I think that drop as well caused them basically to lose that last push into last on Metalworks, obviously, in that second round, pretty much, or maybe it was the first round. Actually, I can't actually remember from the top of my head. But then looking at the logs as well, it was still a pretty even game, despite the scoreline being 2-0. Mid fights won, obviously, actually surprisingly favored the side of Freakshow. So that's a bit interesting. Obviously, one mid fight won from the side of Soiree, but regardless, they did take the series in, take the map in the end. So at least they got the W. And obviously, Sunshine being potentially the last map of the series, we'll obviously have to find out. But one thing I do want to point out is, is like for the side of Freakshow, it was, I think, a rough game for them. For example, Fane did die 26 times, and Connor was all 22. But then again, as well, they were doing a lot of sacking and double sacks and stuff. So explaining these high def numbers is fine. But then you go look at some of their scouts. Dork had an alright game, but then down, obviously going 15 for 13 with 204 DPM. Not something you expect to see out down. Definitely, I feel like he could have done a bit better, but obviously, I think a few mistakes on their end as well with some of the pushes and stuff they want to do. And they also did take a lot of these like solo Ubers with down into or go for an exchange into obviously Swab, and these very deep Ubers obviously causing Miramu to die at times. But overall, solid showing of Soiree, and we'll see what they want to do coming into Sunshine. And there's also one thing I do want to highlight as well, is you may look at their stats as well, right? 20 for 21, but then Paulson as well, 12 for 24 and 193 DPM. It may look like he did really bad, but he actually did a lot of stuff for his team, like sacking and stuff. So I think, not saying obviously he's bad, but you could say he was more opting to do more of the dirty work, sacking, and being more disposable, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, you'd always need one soldier to go in and try to make something happen, even if they're going to die quite a lot, and that's what Paulson was mainly focusing on doing during that game. One thing that I would think is pretty interesting is that the scouts definitely, I think the Soiree scouts definitely had the edge in performance. I mean, just looking at the logs and looking at the game as well. Meanwhile, the heavy classes, I don't think were completely out of it when it comes to Freakshow. So, I mean, I'd actually, again, this is something where I'm a little bit surprised that they decided to stay so far away from the better soldier, better demo maps, because I don't think that's actually the weakest point here, and maybe a map like Sunshine, which is pretty favorable to scouts and Silvo's sniper as well, could be something that'll be a bit weaker for them.
I mean, we'll have to see what happens. I mean, overall, soiree got the W on Metalworks, going to Sunshine. I think they're confident in seeing what they can do. I guess we can just swing the prediction because I think one team is ready up. So let's quickly do this quick. I'm still going with soiree and potentially 2-0. That's what I'm going to go for. And then, yeah, it should be it'll be a close game again, but I think soiree should take it.
Right, well, I mean, I said 4-2 to freakshow last time. The only thing I got right about that was that soiree got 2 rounds. This time, I'm again going to lean on freakshow, especially because this is their map pick. My dubious doubts aside, I think that they've picked it for a reason, and they're a little bit more experienced than I am. So I think I'm going to back freakshow again, maybe 3-1.
I mean, to chime in from my own perspective, I think Metalworks kind of didn't go the way of freakshow just with the way they were playing. They were sort of playing a bit more conservative, waiting for a chance to push in. I feel like Sunshine gives you more of those chances than Metalworks does because Metalworks is so insular on each point. So I actually would give this one to freakshow as well, but I think it's going to be really hard fought. I'm going to say like maybe 2-1.
Well, we'll see what happens because the first mid's already started now. A lot of early position being taken on height by freakshow here, which is going to look pretty impressive for them. Connor already going for a large distraction bomb there. Misses all his rockets, unfortunately. Miramu's actually really low, having to hang around choke right now. Big rotates happen from both teams. Fang going down, Riot and Enrith going down as well, though. He's got a really good position. And all of the players are having to pull out into the last of... Wait, what?
Yo!
I'm very confused. What's going on?
They almost capped last. The Uber gets used on the last point. Dude, soiree! Soiree are making things happen here. They do lose Cookie, and I think it's going to be a bit of a flood push. Riot onto the point now. He does finally go down. That point is so capped for exactly a minute and 15 seconds into the game. What?
Okay, so it looks like what soiree did, because a lot of height position was being taken by freakshow on that mid. Soiree actually took advantage of that and put their players onto the point, capped it, and even though the rotations happened, I thought they were completely done for. They were pulling out into freakshow's second, freakshow's last, but instead they were capping the points they made, so they capped freakshow's second, and freakshow had to quickly hurry up and chase them before they capped last.
That was like the wildest thing I've ever seen, man.
Got the Pulse and Spy now actually coming in looking for something on the meta. Gets the stab onto down. Oh no, gets cleaned. He hasn't actually gotten cleaned up. He's still alive. He's hanging around here. That's going to force freakshow back out the second. This has been, what is this game? We've seen a bat cap from mid, almost onto last, and now a Spy. And we're not even 3 minutes in yet.
I'm telling you, man, my stupid brain cannot handle this thing. We see a bit of fighting going on at the choke there. Connor going down after down takes out right. Oh, sorry, Dork took out, right? And Paulson does go down in the meantime as well. So that means maybe the end of the Spy out of Paulson. Enrith manages to clean up Daz, though, which is going to slow down the push that we were about to see out of freakshow there. They look like they wanted to take that one through the flowers area. But it's going to be back to a bit of a reset here. Daz with his really long spawn, though. Maybe that'll trigger it out of soiree. What do you think?
I mean, Suarez looking like they're going to get aggressive off it, but no, I don't think they're planning on doing anything, especially not with Enrith on 20 HP. Has gotten healed up now, but I mean, yeah, Suarez looking to some really aggressive pokes here, but I mean, Daz already respawned, so I don't think there's really any big opportunity for them to push in.
Yeah, they just tried to make some stuff happen through that the cafe or summer villa, as Salt-Free called area, and they weren't really able to make anything happen. They lost Riot when Daz came there to meet them. Fane does go down in the middle of a sack, though, and it looks like that's going to trigger a bit of a push out of Soiree through the flowers area. Paulson taking a bit of room for his team into that lobby area. Daz there trying to meet Enrith and Cookie. He gets quite a bit of damage, and the soldier comes in. Connor able to clean up Enrith. Cookie down in that lower area. If they can clean him up, with a nice
There's
big
an
pipe
opportunity
like
for
that
sure.
one, then that's really clean. I mean, 3 players down, they're pushing straight into mid.
Yeah, I mean, now Freakshow's finally got the momentum back on their side, getting the cap onto mid. Unfortunately, Lau, of course, still survived that, so Ubers are still even. But there's all these opportunities that they will have to change that, especially with this big sack. Fane, unfortunately, dying there. Wright's going to respawn before he does as well, so an opportunity for maybe Soiree to try to attempt to turn the momentum back around. They're playing aggressively enough for it. Sure enough, they've really got a demo man through choke. They're just going straight into this. They've already used their Uber, forced the Uber out of Freakshow, but Freakshow's lost another 2 players now.
Yeah, losing 2 players in the middle of that Uber is just horrific for Freakshow. Miramu trying to flee on his own. Riot's in very, very deep. Does end up going down. They've cleaned up Cookie as well. They are down both scouts, but the spawns are pretty good. Do you think they know? Oh, go on. Go on, son. Go yourself.
They don't know. They're pushing really. They're so close in Cafe. We'll see how aggressively Freakshow wants to handle it. Already killed Paulson. Silvernox is caught in. He's dead. They've got a big opportunity to push now. Depends on how fast they manage to get over that startling turn of events. Already Soiree's pulled out onto their own second. So, we're looking at a similar situation. Oh, no.
That's foul. Riot with one of the grossest shots across the point from that cafe area, just able to take out Miro, lance any chance they had of turning that into another point, I think. But we'll have to see. They might be able to collapse onto this Uber as it comes through. Flowers, it looks like they want to make it happen. But they have lost 3 players already, and I think it's going to be grim in terms of them forcing it here. Connor's really, really far back, and he doesn't have the health to sack in anyway. So very, very well played out of Soiree. They're already in onto sack. But in good news, Freakshow has just gone, nah, not touching that, man. I'm playing love. So.
Time for the sentry. Well, was it you or was it Ghost who was mentioning the Riot sniper? Because it's sure been pulled down. Big Uber already in for Soiree.
Boy, oh boy. Riot with another sniper kill in the middle of the Soiree Uber. He jumps on through Cookie with that Uber. He has faded already, but he's got that high ground as Scout. He actually ate a pipe, I think, and then surfed it up there. It's great. But we do see we see down on heavy there, and he's able to sort of shut down that. And now that Freakshow has a nice big Uber to play with, they might be able to make it happen, push out here, and start turning things around.
Yeah, no, definitely it's another opportunity for them. However, their Uber ad is dwindling a bit, and Lau is holding very far back. They're looking like they just want to give up the second. Now, this is good for Freakshow because they don't have to use to take this, but they're not going to have the ad to go on mid anyway. Do pick up Paulson behind, and now Silvernox is actually in this, so they've got an opportunity to get another player here. Oh, no! Not again!
Oh. Riot with his 4th headshot. 4th headshot? No, 3rd headshot, 4th kill on Sniper since he spawned as. Manages to take out Miramu again. Another crushing headshot from Riot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely understandable. I mean, I remember a while back Riot saying that he thought that, on the Oz Fortress forum, saying that he thought that Yui was the new sheep when it came to Australian snipers, but unfortunately Yui didn't quite manage to pull that off at the international he went to, so Riot of course decided, screw it, I'll become the new sheep, and has pulled this off now. Unfortunately for Freakshow, the sentry has gone down, the Uber's come in, already faded, but 2 players down for Freakshow isn't the best situation for them to be in. Only 3 players left to hold this. Lau actually pulling out from really low health, however, and this could actually go Freakshow's way for the defense.
I mean, Freakshow are looking like they really want to make it happen. They're waiting for a couple spawns. They do have Connor spawning now. Down about to spawn as well. They clean up Silvo. That's going to put him in a pretty good spot. It's just Enrith and his med trying to get out. Enrith the only one left alive after Lau goes down. A nice spam rock. We do see Dor. He collected Enrith going down. Another huge pick. Connor trying to go through that lower area. He does catch Paulson. Doesn't manage to get the kill though. And I think that's going to give them what they need to be able to push out here. They've got a little bit of ad. They know they're a demo up. Oh, dude, no! Cookie just walking straight through.
Oh, no. That's
my.
to lose the first round. Like, what a first round was that, honestly. Oh, what did we want? We had one round, we had from a mid back cap, we had a spy, we had that disgusting sniper play, and then finally ended in a cookie back cap. What's going on?
I can't believe that was only 9 minutes of my life, man. But into this, we see the usual sort of sunshine job. We see a nice big high bomb out of Connor. Riot, the first one to die in the middle of that. Hooky and Silvo both go down. This is going to put Freakshow in such a fat position. Daz in very, very aggressively, trying to make things happen. Lau goes down. Fane in with a nice big bomb, cleaning up Lau and Amethyst. That's essentially a wipe. I mean, Riot just spawned. He's back up on sniper. Oh, God. But I think Freakshow's in the good books here. They've taken it from red, they've turned it to black, and I think they're going to be collecting their VIG.
You see, this should be free for them. Unfortunately, Fang going down to the sniper is just going to completely halt that push. Like I said, this should be free for them. Riot is very much proving it's not going to be. They're going to have to be so careful of that sniper. They've decided to use it anyway. Haven't dropped any players yet. Riot's gotten live out the back though. Sentry Gun's finally gone down, putting some pressure on point. They're heavy there, but no, it's too late. Enough cap time is accumulated.
5 players alive, man.
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to die for the point. It's a mistake for the logs.
I'm telling you, man, you got to play the old get down, Mr. President, on the point there. Definitely really good. I mean, it's back to 1-on-1, and that was only another, minute and 40 to turn that one back around and bring it even. That's nuts, man.
Yeah, definitely much faster round from Freakshow. A lot more dominant performance for them. Not quite looking like they're going to be able to pull off the same thing this mid, however, because Fane does go down pretty early. Unless they get some pretty quick frags here. Looks like they're trying to pick up the medic. Don't quite manage to do it. They do manage to do it, but they've lost 4 just for Lau. Now, all the players on Soiree are so low, apart from Cookie, and he's the one who finds Daz. So that's going to give that mid to Soiree. Now, unfortunately for Soiree, they're not going to be able to pull the same thing Freakshow just did, because their own medic died in that, so it's going to be even.
Yeah, it's definitely going to slow them down as they try to push in the last hit. That said, even with the even Ubers, I think Soiree will probably be pretty eager to get themselves in, especially if they can clean up Dork, who's up on Pyro in that top area. They would definitely give them the opening they need, but I might be proven wrong. I mean, to be honest, I think the smart dart throw Riot in and then put him on sniper.
Could do. One thing to actually notice here is that Lau's been building so much better than Miramu has, and he's turned what should have been an even Uber situation into a really large Uber advantage for them. So
is it crits? It has to be crits. There's no way he's building that quick.
Yeah, it's crits. It's
okay.
Crits.
I was gonna say. So with the crits now, how do they want to take that? Looks like they want to take it through that left door as they. Crits gets used. The sticky goes across. They know it's now crits. Miramu's back all the way into spawn. It's collected no frags just yet. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a flub there, but that does mean Freakshow's got 80%. That's going to give them what they need to push here.
Yeah, not an awful play there, but unfortunately just you had the sentry gun on the left side. Sentries, of course, as all buildings are, immune to critical damage, and had the combo holding around there as well. Not much of an opportunity. Uber has come out from Freakshow, however.
Oh no,
doesn't
not
really
again.
get too much. Please tell me Riot's not on sniper.
Sorry, I got afraid Silver was pushed in on last thing. And Paulson as well, but they do get cleaned up in the behind. That's 2-player out now as well, and they only have to dodge this crits on the way in.
Yeah, might be an easy situation. Unfortunately, Enrith is on with the crits. They bait it really well, actually. Get it used on mostly nothing. Riot going down as well as Connor. Cookie going down as well. Daz just hitting the pipes non-stop. Dork dying to Silvo. Daz killing Lau with another pipe. What is this? He's bailing them out of this push, honestly, which has gone so disastrously for them so far. Looks like Miramu is going to be able to survive. Maybe. He's actually just running out of one by his lonesome. 3 Soiree players chasing him. Does meet up with Connor just in time to save his life.
Boy, oh boy. Daz really showed up to that fight, hey.
For sure. I mean, honestly, that was going pretty disastrous for Freakshow, apart from Daz's 3-pipe connects, killing 3 players. What is going to come out of that, though, is a big Uber advantage for Freakshow. They're going to have a big opportunity to push here. unfortunately for them, it's not enough to really get this ball rolling for them. They're only going to really be able to take second with this one, as long as they don't get forced and leapfrogged, which would be an awful situation to be in at the moment.
Oh man, I would just absolutely vomit. They do actually use the Uber through. They're in nice and deep, but they're not going to be able to clean up Lau, so I think our worst fears are probably going to be realised. Lau now just getting his Uber. He's just used into that second area. They've cleaned up Daz really early as well, which is a big pick. Taking out the demo in any situation was fantastic. But it looks like they've actually flubbed it a little bit. They've lost Riot and Paulson as well. Silvo only just spawning himself. And it looks like Freakshow is going to be able to push straight on out into that second area. Cookie down very low in that flowers area. He just gets away by the skin of his... Enrith firing some stickies across, but there's nothing they can do. They have to back out of second.
Yeah, that was... I mean, I saw Freakshow's life flash before their eyes, but they managed to pull out the rabbit from the hat there and squeeze the victory, get the second point anyway, and even net themselves a little bit of Uber advantage from that. Doesn't look like too much. Maybe it's a munch ad, but, you know, depending on how aggressively Freakshow want to play this, we could see something anyway.
I mean, it's 10-15%, and they're pushing in very deep through flowers. They may want to just double stick their demo through right as they do just get now, and I think they've thought better of it. They've gone, okay, it's too close for comfort. We're not in deep enough already. So yeah, it's even down. We got 15 minutes left on the...
It's only been half the match, Lugnut.
We'll have to see how it goes.
What a half. What a half, honestly.
Seen it all.
Seen too much.
We do see two big old bombs, Riot and Paulson go through. Riot does go down. Paulson stuck in that lower area very low. And in the meantime, Fane actually manages to pick up Enrith, which is huge. They're able to push straight on through into the middle area. They pick up Paulson in the back end as well. That's going to be a free middle cap for them. They didn't get the force that they were probably hoping for out of it. But, man, you'd be cheering, right?
They managed to deny Paulson there. Sorry, managed to deny Enrith there. That's going to be really good for them, and they're going to use that advantage to push straight into the second. Looks like Soiree doesn't want to give this up, though. They've used the Uber here. Haven't even forced the Uber out, though. They've decided to drop Daz instead. It's a questionable pick there, but I mean, they kill Cookie for it, which isn't the worst trade in the world, especially with how dominant Cookie's been. And this actually gives a full Uber advantage for Freakshow to try to push in through. And Soiree's going to have to pull out of this, but they're going to have to force this, because if they don't, then it's a full Uber advantage for Freakshow looking into last.
I mean, Soiree are making Freakshow work for it. They finally get that force out 89 seconds after Miramu actually got the Uber. It looks like Freakshow are they're pretty eager to push straight on through while they have some sort of ability to cap this last point. And I think they've thought better of it. Once again, they've decided, okay, look, that's stupid. And so they've backed straight back out in the second. And they've ended up with, a net 50% disadvantage, essentially. Is it crazy?
Doesn't even want to wait for that one. It must be... No,
it's not. That's
no,
crazy.
It's not. Yeah. They don't even want to wait for the Uber. They just want to go for it. Already pushed Freakshow onto mid, so they're going to be able to utilize the super advantage to, take this middle point as well. Of course, it's dwindling slowly, but Memory's going to have to be really quick to escape from this one if they decide to use or get forced.
They send Connor and Fane at Lau there, but both of them end up going down with no frags under their belt, no notches to be carved into the gun.
Well, I mean, not the worst position for free. Yeah, think about how the viewers feel, man. Honestly, not
in the
worst
meantime,
situation
the
for
Ubers
Freakshow.
come out. Freakshow having to bail out a second. They've lost pretty much all of their players. Miramu, one of the only ones left alive. The only one left alive.
Okay, maybe it was the worst situation for Freakshow.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad position for Freakshow. They've got Miramu, they've got Dork, but there's 4 players on their left. Dork's there fighting them, trying to get him off that point. Nice and early. Miramu taking a fight as well himself. Not quite enough to make it happen, and that is 2-1 to Soiree. I'm going to refrain from opening my mouth ever again.
The wider world thanks you, Snazzy. Looks like Freakshow are now finally at a disadvantage. 11 minutes left, 2-1 to Soiree. This mid is going to be pretty telling for how things are going to go, because these rounds are starting to get longer and longer. Enrith getting deleted by Fane there. That's an awful situation for Soiree to try to hold this mid. Giving advantage to freakshow. Unfortunately, they've lost 2 players as well. Daz is so low. He dies as well. Looks like Soiree doesn't care about having a demo or not because they're cleaning up all these players. Just Dork left. Dork manages to get Lau though.
Dork is nuts, man. He
Disgust.
he shot his pistol at Lau and it looked like he didn't miss any of it. That was on.
They've, hopefully they've screened these players. This isn't quite Land Down Under, but it's Summer Brawl still, So, I mean, that actually bailed them completely out of that one. Unfortunately, they might not be able to get too much going off that, considering Riot is back on Sniper. Freakshow have probably got some counter strategies for this now, right? Unfortunately, Soiree doesn't have counter strategies for these huge bombs coming in from Freakshow that managed to kill both Riot and Lau. That's such a big advantage for Freakshow.
Yeah, and Paulson caught behind as well. I mean, he drags a lot of the players back, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. Silvo's in behind in that choke area as well. He goes down for his ass. It was darn close that he might have been able to take out Miramu. He wasn't able to make anything happen. They should be able to block both the scouts by capping the mid here. I can smell a free second in the works.
I can smell something, yes. It could be a free second. We'll see how it goes. Unfortunately, Riot is playing a sneaky game with Paulson. Do manage to clean up Fane. Riot, however, going down for it means not an awful situation to be in for the pushing team. Sure enough, Soiree's just been forced to completely abandon this. Now, here's the issue, though. Soiree still has a very small amount of Uber. There's enough of an Uber gap here for Freakshow to move really quickly and push with an Uber advantage into last if they decide to. Of course, they're going to have to do that before Fane gets to them, so it's an aggressive play, but it looks like they're planning on doing anyway. Already have Down and Daz getting on the sentry gun, spammed it down, still 30% advantage.
30% advantage is all they really need here. They're pushing through that upper area on the right.
Oh.
They've thrown players at Lau. Lau and Cookie going down right, the only player left alive. They've just walked straight on through. They're on that. The Uber does finally get used. Paulson jumping in, the Uber comes off, and that is that. To even 2 and 2, 9 minutes left on the clock. It's been 21 minutes, and somehow we've seen all this.
Yeah, this is an experience, I'm sure, for everyone. It's 2-2 at the moment. A little bit less than 9 minutes left. This has been a very close match so far. We'll see how Freakshow managed to handle this mid, though.
Yeah, I mean, Freakshow playing this one a little bit slower. We actually see Soiree with massive aggression. Riot and Silvo getting early damage onto Miramu, taking him out. We see massive return damage from Freakshow. They've cleaned up Penrith, Lau, Silvo, Riot. They do lose Connor and Fane in the midst of all that, and they actually take this one directly to the... I've lost where Paulson is.
Paulson's in Cafe.
He's in Cafe. He's just going to have to feed. There's nothing he can do here.
Well, that's what you think. It's Paulson here. He might do something,
He could.
I mean, he's a player with a lot of potential. How's Paulson the only player to survive that mid? That's what I want to know.
He's a... No, I actually have no idea. I think they just prioritized the frags onto everything else. Potentially a mistake. I mean, Paulson was there to block him, just walking straight into second, but that was a dominant mid out of the fella. They do, however, having lost Miramu right off the bat, they only end up with, what's that, 2% ad? It's not.
That's a fully munch ad, but 2.5%, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's not going to allow them to do too much. But really, at this stage, I mean, sure, Freakshow want to get another round on this. This is their map hook, so they want to win this map. In fact, they have to win this map. If they don't, it's all over for them. But, 2-2, they're holding mid. They're not in the weakest position here. 7 minutes left means that they don't have to be extremely rushing to get a round on, because, I mean, clutching out a round with only 40 seconds left would be the best way to end this one. Completely remove any chance of Soiree hitting back. Of course, they can't wait around too long, because Soiree's looking for an opportunity to get another lead.
Yeah, and you'd hate to see it go to Golden Cap if you're one of these players. I think it is so shockingly even. I mean, you'd both be going like, nah, we can do that. Just one more push.
Like, yeah. Is there a time limit on Golden Caps?
No, there's no time limit on Golden Caps, I don't believe. Not off the top of my head. It can go for it. Yeah, but I don't think there is a time limit on them. I think it's just... Oh, well, I mean, you got to keep capping points, otherwise you run the timer down, but... I mean, that's a whole different thing. Anyway, speaking of pushes, we actually saw Paulson and Cookie go down, which is going to trigger a push out of freakshow. They've actually used their Uber on that second point there. We see a return Uber from Soiree. Silvo managing to back them out just a little bit in the midst of all that Uber, but he does go down. Andrew taking quite a bit of damage. He's had to back out into lobby, and it's going to see freakshow up on top. They've taken that second point. They can probably spend a little bit of time here getting their Uber back up, finding an opportunity to push into lobby. Pretty clinical TF2, that, I think.
Yeah, Freakshow's definitely got the momentum here. They are slowly grinding down the points. Soiree's going to have to put up a serious hold here to prevent them from capping that last, because especially when the rounds have taken as long as they have, to wall, almost 5 minutes left, Soiree would be really unhappy to see themselves lose a round here. Looks like they're already getting the sentry up. They just want to, at the very least, the worst case scenario at this point for them is not going to be Golden Cat.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where Soiree is coming from, because we've seen in their other matches over the last few days, they can sort of defend anything. So, I mean, I like their odds of being able to push this push, back in, and tell them to, get bent, as some may say.
Some, not you, some.
Not me, some might.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how Freakshow attack this, because they do have that 5 minutes to play with. If I was them, I'd be taking this real slow, baby. I'd be turning this one into like a 70s easy listening, bring that tempo down.
Exactly. I mean, they're in a position where, honestly, the more time ticks off the clock, it is not looking awful for them, because all they need is one successful push here. Meanwhile, it's Soiree that needs to have a much, much larger return. So, yeah, really, they can hold out here, just look for any incremental advantage. They got Riot, that's an incremental advantage. Of course, Sentry Gun's still on last, is going to make things a little more difficult.
But if they push through that right side, they're able to spam that gun out. They've got both their soldiers in. They do lose Fang. They have picked up Paulson, which is putting them in a fairly good spot. They do lose Connor as well, though, which is going to put them in a grim position. But it is kind of difficult to push out into second here, I think, especially when you're trying to keep that gun up from the looks of things.
Exactly. I've actually lost the... What? They managed to get the force out. That's disastrous for Freakshow.
Cookie managed to walk all the way through lower lobby. I missed it. He came all the way around the spot and just landed, walked right on up and just forced mirror. That's nuts. And we see Soiree defeating the trolls in the dungeon, coming through that lower area. They're onto the second area already. The Uber does get used to save Silver. They pick up Connor in the midst of all that, so I guess this is probably what Freakshow wanted. They got the force, really.
Exactly, and now they've got a bigger advantage on middle. I mean, this is a leapfrog that they can't be unhappy with. Fane is in behind as well, so there's an opportunity for a play here. Unfortunately, it looks like Soiree know that, and they're using this as an opportunity to push in. Freakshow might be forced to pull out of this mid, because they need to wait for that Uber before they have a really good chance here. Fane in behind does so much damage, and down comes and cleans up Lau. This is such a good position for Freakshow to be in now. They finally have the Uber. They've lost 3, but, 2 down on the side of Soiree. Uber has been used to save Daz. A lot of frags coming out to clean up. Unfortunately, all of Soiree players are just playing all over the place. They don't want to be caught in the same place to get cleaned up by this Uber.
That was a filthy to turn that fight back to the game. Jeez, my head just got messed up by that one. Miramudo has come through with quite a bit of ad. What's that, 30 ad? That's enough to play with. Silvo did come up on Sniper briefly. He's gone back to Scout. Cookie's just up on NG now. The gun's only level 1. They're 80%. If they push, immediately upon getting, this could be a lot.
It could be for sure. I mean, Freakshow can taste it. 2 minutes left. This is a really good opportunity for them. I mean, even if they fail this, there's a pretty decent amount of time they have left to, reconsolidate. And Soiree doesn't have the best of chances to push their own last. Looks like they're ready, and Uber's already faded. The medic's being lasered down by the heavy. Things are actually looking really rough for them. Only 2 players left against the 3 players. Only 1 player, just Doorclef. That's a successful hold by Soiree. That's going to taste really bad for Freakshow, especially now Lau has 100% Uber advantage, and they're going to try to use as much momentum momentum as they can to sweep this last to last. Of course, Dork is still hanging around here, and that point has been capped quite a lot.
Well, I gotta tell you, at this point, with a minute 30 left on the clock, short of Freakshow doing something crazy and managing to cap, I mean, short of Soiree laughing at it, I think we're seeing a golden cap. Like, that was, man, that'd be heartbreaking if you're Freakshow there. Because you were so close, that point was so capped. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not a situation you really wanted to be in. That Force has actually come out full Freakshow. That's actually looking really good for them. 57 seconds left.
Yeah.
I mean, they can do this. They can definitely do this. 2 players down, big Uber advantage, pushing into second already. Looks like Soiree is being forced out to last. This is an opportunity
stuck
for sure.
behind as well. Okay, 40 seconds left on the clock. They're starting the cap on second. They do lose Fane, so they're going to have to push without him. But it's one-on-one. Paulson will spawn in the middle of this push. That's going to be the dangerous thing for them. They're coming through that lower area. The Uber comes out. They're in nice and deep onto Silvo early. That's good. They bullied that heavy out. The gun goes down as well. It gets swapped out. But I think it's a bit of a flub of a push. 20 seconds left on the... Dork's still there. We do see Connor getting quite a few rockets off. Fane's the only one left alive.
It's all down to Fane.
Oh, man.
Almost 10 seconds left. Fane has to do some Tempest rollout onto the point here to save everything. 8 seconds.
And he's got to shoot straight past the craziest traps.
Oh my god.
He's on the point, but he has to jump back out.
No.
Yeah, that's that. Golden cap.
Oh man.
Good God. Well, I'll throw to Ghost for a little bit. Can you tell us about what you saw there just before these guys ready up for the golden cap?
Well, this is our first golden cap of the tournament, first of all, which is pretty good, and in the grand finals as well. But yeah, overall close game, and definitely we did see a couple of soldier bombs and stuff. Both medics as well. A lot of deep bombs, obviously forcing the meds to force, which was really good. So rocked the favor. No one really actually had an advantage at most points of the game. There obviously were at times, but you know, generally it was pretty even and honestly quite stalemate almost actually. But then looking at the mid as well, that tower in the middle obviously was basically the objective. You'd see Riot fast rollout, get that height control on the tower, or even one of their soldiers. But otherwise, just generally in the mid as well, a lot of double soldier bombs and commitments onto the medics. And obviously in this one as well, both meds actually lived at times. And then looking at the logs as well, Cookie going 29 for 16, 269 DPM. Had a really good game, obviously. And same with, on the side of Freakshow, both Down and Dork having respectively really good games, obviously recovering from that Metalworks game. And mid-fight, well, obviously Soiree taking that by 1, but still quite even too, respectively. But overall, I think this was a very even game, and going to this golden cap, I think we're going to see another one. Another very close game, and who knows, we might see another one of that first round. Whole team rapidly last and almost do a back cap of with 3 people. We'll see.
Please no.
If they do that in the golden cap, I'm gonna poo my pants. Let me tell you.
I'm gonna uninstall TF2. That's what I'm gonna do.
But overall, I mean, it was a really close affair between these 2 teams in regulation. And again, highlighting as well, the soldiers on the side, mainly I think especially you could say Soiree being Paulson, just going behind, distracting, and you know, he's dragging at least 2 or 3 players back just to deal with him. So definitely doing a good job, just being basically expendable, you could say, almost.
Yeah, Paulson is everyone's favorite expendable player. He does it so well. I mean, just always in just a really inconvenient position for people to be in. It's like, yeah, it doesn't really get too much out of it, but it's constant presence in the back of everyone's mind. So,
I mean, he's definitely something to keep an eye on. He does. I mean, like you said, he drags so many players back. He makes so much impact just by merely existing, even if he's not actually doing anything. It's really quite crazy, the impact he has on the game. It's sort of like unseen, but felt. You know?
Unfelt, unseen, but you know it exists.
But he's there. He's
sure
there. I promise you. But yeah, we're going live. This could be it, ladies and gentlemen. The golden cap of Sunshine here. If Soiree take this one, it's all over. That's the grand final going there. I believe that Freakshow could do this. Your boy Fane there might be able to make it happen, Lugnuts. Tell me about what's going.
Please, Fane. He's already gone in, done some damage to Paulson, has to pull out for the pack, however. Not really great positioning being taken by Freakshow this mid. A bit further forward from Soiree. Still hanging in there though, the rotate is happening. Riot going in for a big bomb, going down pretty low, but taking down to low as well. Lau's actually only on 8 health right now, so Fane's already dead, but this is looking pretty good for Freakshow. Lau going down, but gives the heal advantage to Freakshow for this mid. If they can keep Miramu alive, this is a really good position for them to be in. They've had to pull back to the second of Soiree, however, but now there's a big fight happening in this floral area, and if they come out of this on top, this could be a very good opportunity for Freakshow. They have to use the Uber, but they do clean up all the players. Having to use that Uber there is very rough for them, though, because that's going to eliminate their massive advantage for pushing into last. However, Lau, of course, didn't have players to actually build off, so it's going to be a little bit of advantage for them, which if they want to play super aggressive, they could. But anyway, a first mid win and pushing second is a good position to start the Golden Cap in Freakshow.
Yeah, man, if you're Freakshow, you're totally fine with that. I mean, you still end up with a little bit of ad. It's only 10, but it's something. They are being pushed pretty much straight back out of second, though, in the midst of all their sort of vague celebration. They lose Connor and Fane on that second point, which is going to push them straight on back. And we actually see the beast within Soiree. They're letting it out. They're coming straight on through, massively aggressive onto that middle point.
They don't manage to deny the spawners of Fane and Connor, though, so they're not going to be able to roll their momentum onto second quite as easily. The ad has also managed to expand for the side of Freakshow, but they're not happy with trying to use it into Soiree, who've had the momentum so far. So just going to look to even out. No one wants to take the big risk to lose this one, especially for Freakshow, because if they lose this golden cap, that's over. They're done. They're going home. No land win.
I mean, I was about to say, I mean, they're not at land, so technically they're at home anyway. We just see a nice big jump out of Riot and Paulson. They both throw themselves in. They don't actually manage to collect a force or even any frags. So that's going to trigger the push out of Freakshow here. They're wandering straight through. I'm just trying to figure out where the trap is, Enrith. Where did you put it? But I can't find it. Neither could he, apparently, because there was no trap kills. And it's going to be basically a free mid for Freakshow there. They're able to push straight on in, collect that one, and it's just back to the same spot we were before.
It's a good shift in momentum of Freakshow, but I mean, I can't believe that was out of the books for Soiree. They had to be pretty comfortable potentially losing that point after throwing 2 soldiers, seeing it as worth it. Of course, now it's Freakshow who have the ability to sort of throw away a point if they want to, because both these teams just sort of want to stay off of last. So if the 2-player sack works, it's great. If it doesn't, Paulson's going in for the sack onto Miramu. Gets cleaned up very quickly though.
And I mean, the one player out with a 14-second spawn, it's not nothing, but I think, yeah, Freakshow actually want to push straight on through choke. They're very, very eager. They're in nice and deep. They actually lose Dork really early, and he takes out Fane as well. That's 2 players down right as Paulson spawns. Riot just says "don't" in the chat, which is fantastic. And yeah, that's gonna spell the end out of Freakshow's aggression. They're looking like they might want to use to try to defend this midpoint, which I'm not sure if I agree with. Man. They actually do use straight on in. They get a little bit aggressive, but they get the force out. But they did lose Connor on the backside in the middle of that. They clean up Riot on their way up, and it looks like they want to keep fighting. They've got the rest of their players in. Fane's in nice and deep. Dragon players backwards. He's keeping them in the choke. Paulson up on top of that bell tower, though. That's going to be enough to really cause some problems for Freakshow, and I think they're going to have to back straight on it. Finally, the end of that fight.
See, that's what we talk about with Paulson just being in really weird spots, because there was such good positional advantage for Freakshow here. They had their momentum. They could have easily re-established control over that second point. But Paulson, despite not getting any kills or not even really getting that much damage, sitting on top of that bell tower completely prevented Freakshow from just pushing their entire team forward and committing on choke. And that's actually forced them out of it and now forced them onto their last, which is not a situation they want to be in, even though they have roughly even Ubers.
I mean, Paulson, I know he's statistically one of the worst players out of the Jasmine T crew, but I think that's a classic example of why statistics can't actually tell you everything, because the impact he's just had there is immense. Like, that was pretty much a turn. In the middle of that, I should say, Soiree got absolutely dumped. for a second there. Cookie trying to walk into last. He does end up going down to Daz. Paulson in that lower area going down as well. Lau having really only just spawned means that Miramu's got a nice big...
Oh no!
Miramu's got a nice big fat drop and...
Oh jeez, look, they didn't need right on sniper to get the drop anyway. They just there's the trap you were looking for, by the way.
So I was wondering where it was. He left it in the wrong place.
Yeah, sent him forward in time.
Yeah, that's tragic for freakshow. They're staring down the barrel of like 65 ads. I mean, they've got the NG getting the gun up nice and early. They've got some players out there that I think are going to attempt to get a force. Connor and Fane might try for that stuff. Connor has seen, pardon me, where they're coming from, come through that cafe area. I don't think Fane's in any position to make anything happen, so they're just committing to that last.
I saw
60%.
a big sticky trap right on top of Lau. Unfortunately, it wasn't dead. Oh man, that's
one of those
disastrous.
things. The gun's there to meet the Uber as it comes through that lower area. The point begins the cap. It's about half capped already. No frags through. Connor and Cookie go down at the same time. Just choked on that one, man. Riot going for a bit of a bomb. He ends up going down as well, and it looks like Soiree are just backing straight on out of that one. Miramu actually retaining his Uber for the duration of that. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's a big Uber advantage now for freakshow as long as they don't drop again. There's the trap, really close to him. He goes off the wrong side though, doesn't get hit by the trap. This is now your opportunity for freakshow to push up. They're taking so much damage along with this. They've only killed Paulson and Silvo, who I assumed one of them was going for a back cap at least. So it looks like they've managed to quite convincingly take the second, but it was delayed for long enough time for Soiree to get a lot closer to Uber. I don't know if freakshow has the advantage to take this mid off it.
I think freakshow's relying on the player ad with those spawns there that they did block Paulson and Silvo, I believe, as well. Silvo able to run in there. Daz actually going in for a bit of a stack. The Ubers both get used. Daz going down is a bit tragic in the middle of all of that. And it's looking like freakshow are just getting collapsed upon, and they've all got the same respawn, which kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, this is a really disastrous situation for them. I don't know if they're actually going to be able to survive for this one. Daz is up in 2 seconds. He's the only player who's going to be able to defend this. The point is already being capped right now. Daz dying to the trap, and it looks like your Summer Brawl champions are going to be Soiree.
Yeah, Soiree really played that one exactly right. Just collapsing on players when they made a little mistake. It was a tiny mistake, thinking they had a little bit more ad than they did. They threw Daz in the middle of the push as well. It's just tragic, man. Well played to Soiree, though. And I'll throw one over to Ghost so he can get his bit in about that one.
I mean, look, it was Golden Cap, not much else to say, but overall, a very close series in the end for the general this series. It's a very close series in the end. Obviously, Sunshine as well, probably a much closer scoreline, definitely does show. But going to that one as well, something I probably forgot to highlight before was Fane as well doing these, get behind sort of plays, because we saw what it did during, that Golden Cap, especially on potentially when Soiree had Uber ad, he literally walked behind through lower and just walked, it was a lower? Anyway, he walked behind them and regardless and got Lau, and obviously caused them not to push, but in the end still, that exchange on mid sort of turned the fight around, and then wiping the whole team sort of resulted in them winning the Golden Cap and obviously taking the whole series in the end. But overall, not much else to add to the logs or anything else. It was just a really good series and really close, and obviously wasn't a stomp. But congratulations to Sorry for taking the series, and commiserations to Freakshow.
It's just truly tragic stuff, I think. Freakshow seemed like they were right on the sort of verge of taking us to a third map. I have to say, I appreciate that you didn't make me do that. Thank you. But
I can finally go eat dinner.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, it's really quite tragic because it looked like they almost had that one in the back. I really don't have a lot to say about it. It was really good TF2 to watch, but it's one of those ones. It's like One Night Stand. Do you remember them? It just hurts deep inside. You go, damn, they were close.
Something of all of us has been left behind in that game, unfortunately, and we're all going to we place the blame on COVID for not having LAN because Yeah,
At least
clearly.
no one had to deal with Optimus Prime. You know what? The next strain is probably called Megatron in a second. That's literally what they're going to call it. That's what it sounds like. Like,
Megatron variant, that's gonna be the dangerous one.
why don't we call it the scariest name possible? Why can't we just call it like Tim or Jerry? Oh, you have to Jerry strain.
Come on, where's the Jerry strain of COVID? Honestly, that's the one that lets us still go to LAN. You know, Jerry's a cool guy, not this Omicron fella.
I don't know.
Jerry's a mad dog, man.
I've just got nothing else to really add into this series. I believe do have interviews from what I've been told, but do you two have actually anything else you want to highlight from the game? Because I think I've highlighted what I can. Do you guys have anything else you want to add to what I've mentioned?
Ooh.
I mean, nothing in particular. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's it's like I said, it's really good TF2 to watch. So I'm thankful for both teams for allowing us to keep an eye on that one. But yeah, I mean, I've got really nothing to add.
Yeah, who even needs a LAN when you have some TF2 like that? I mean, definitely showed us a really good game there. I mean, you know, we always have the small risk when we go to grand finals that it could be pretty one-sided, but you know, Freakshow really showed up, especially on that second map, and you just saw the logs at the end of it. It was so dominant looking for them. Unfortunately, just not quite able to swing the golden cap and send us to a third map.
So, speaking of the interviews, we do have Cookie in here from the side of Soiree. I'm not too sure if we've got anyone from Freakshow joining us. How are you, Cookie?
Good, thanks, Ghost. How are you?
Very good.
How's your KFC?
Very nice.
That's good.
Really good with the chicken nuggets.
She gets chicken nuggets from KFC, man.
I do.
What? Yeah, this is
Why not?
all right. Sure.
At least get the tenders, man.
Yeah, honestly. Honestly.
Wicked
Anyway,
Wings? Anyone?
yes, I did get Wicked Wings. I was in a box. Speaking of, anyway, onto TF2. How do you feel about this grand final going into it against Freakshow? What were your thoughts into this game?
Well, we thought it was going to be pretty fun. We've been scrimming them on Tuesdays for about a month. It's always been like pretty close. Yeah, so it was good.
Comfortable game, nice and close. Was the scoreline as well as obviously for both maps were like expected, really close series. We expected a really close series, but obviously I think it would be probably that close, obviously.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be close as well, just because how we played them in like our scrims, and also yesterday we played them on clear cut with a modified roster because Enrith was asleep. Shout out to him, rocking up tonight at least. So we knew it was going to be close, but we felt pretty comfortable. I think like while we were playing in the map, I don't think anyone like sort of thought we were on the verge of losing, but yeah.
I think as well, one thing I do want to obviously go into your map pick and bans is nothing, I guess, too out of ordinary. Obviously, clear cut getting banned straight away by you. Was that as a result of that game, or was it just in general?
Yeah, they played really well yesterday on it. They had really good like double bombs, and Paulson also doesn't like it that much, so we're just like, we'll just ban it.
So it's partially obviously probably that game, and also just not being comfortable. I'm assuming, correct?
Yeah.
And then I think going into that, I mean, you banned that map out, but then again, I think one thing we highlighted as well, you lose the only Hoff map actually in this tournament, and then you got every other CP map, which obviously both your teams are comfortable on. And then obviously the maps being picked out, were you surprised by it, or you weren't too phased by what was chosen because you guys were probably really comfortable on any map that was chosen?
Yeah, like we've all played together heaps, so we're comfortable any map. That's why we banned Snake, even though it's one of our good maps. We're just bored of it. Played every scrim, every match, so we're just like, get rid of it and just play whatever, really. Yeah.
And then obviously Freakshow banned out Granary. Was that assuming just to stop Riot or even Paulson, or just like your soldier bombs or anything, or was that just again?
I'm assuming it's because they haven't played it much, because I don't think we've scrimmed Gran. So I think we would have had more experience as a team compared to them.
Okay. Do you have anything to add, Luggnuts or Snazzy as well?
I'm letting you do it, Lug.
Wait,
guys
for
have
you to
anything
crack first, man.
You guys have
I
anything
mean,
to
I
ask?
personally don't really have anything to specifically ask about. I mean, it looked like you guys sort of had a really good time, sort of. How I'm trying to word this one, but I can't even think of it in my head. You were really capitalizing on the small little advantages quite well. So I don't really have much to add. I mean, Ghost has asked all the questions that I was going to.
Yeah, man. I
He's
mean, this is why
absolutely
Ghost
pumped
gets
me.
paid the big bucks, man.
He
And
does.
the analysis, the interviews, honestly, he's the one with the
tell you.
real talent.
One of these days, I'm going to get a paycheck, but I'm going to have to take some lessons from Ghost first. But
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd say is it was a lot of fun watching you guys play, as per usual. So
That's
that's
good.
about all I've got.
I mean, I think there's one thing as well I do want to mention is that Sunshine game, especially the first round, was very fun to watch, especially when you understand a 3-man back cap first round.
Oh,
Was that-
yeah,
was that-
that was
was that-
so
was that?
fucking close. So
That was
yesterday,
very close.
yesterday we played. Can't remember what team it was. Sorry to whoever we played for the disrespect, but Paulson was just like, I'm just gonna cap mid. So we got a round on Sunshine yesterday, 44 seconds. So we wanted to try it again today, just for fun, and we were very close. I think we just beefed on last. But
Yeah, it was shockingly close. Sorry, I should have brought that up. That shit blew my mind, man. We were watching it happen, and Lug and I were both going in 20 seconds. What
yeah,
the-
yeah. I think it caught them off surprise, and we tried to do it again a few other mids, and it didn't work. But the first time, that was really hype.
Yeah, it was intense, man.
What was happening that whole first round? We saw that play immediately into Paulson on Spy. I mean,
Yeah.
and then right success on Sniper. What the heck was going on?
It's just insane. I think Paulson wanted to go spy because it was like 80% cap, so we wanted to back cap, but we couldn't stop second.
I mean, you got a nice face stab on down, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah, he said he
Pretty cool.
fucking matador stabbed
Yeah,
down.
he did. Yeah, he did.
I hope that was caught on stream.
Yeah, it
I
was.
don't know
It
if like
was.
Paulson messaged you guys. He's got a habit when he does something cool, he'll message the broadcaster like an absolute narcissist, and it's like,
Probably
get on
messaged
my cam.
Mitch. He messaged
So,
Mitch.
I don't
but,
know if he did that tonight.
No, I didn't get any messages, but I did see the stab of the face stab pretty much on down Sunshine mid, which is quite funny.
See, that's where Paulson's talents have gone into. We talk about Silverdox's spy plays so much, but really, Paulson's a sleeper agent.
Yeah, he is. He's good.
Well, I suppose, unless anyone else can think of anything, I mean, Ghost has carried us straight through the interview, so we can head straight to shout-outs. Is everyone happy?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, I suppose Cookie being the winner here, I suppose we'll give you the shout-out first. What do you got, mate?
Shout out to all the normal people, the boys. Hang on, who else have I got? EMG, and also a big special shout out to Paulson because it's his birthday today, and he decided to play video games. I won't disclose his age, but he's getting up there.
Happy birthday to Paulson.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
everyone
birthday.
tends to get real sauced at their 50th, so I don't know how he was dealing with it,
Explains a lot of the gameplay, No one can play that good unless they've got some illicit substances in them, man.
All right. Ghost, you got anything you want to shout out, mate?
Shout out to both teams for playing. Shout out to Mitch and the organizers, Liz, everyone behind the scenes for organizing this in the current state of events that we've had. So very good effort for you guys for taking your time to organize it. And then shout out to Miramu because he asked. And yeah, that's it.
Luggnuts, you want to get anything out there, mate?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to the intellectual powerhouses. Shout out to the top gifter on the channel, still CKM 7-inch Girl, supporting the channel. Great work there. Shout out to, of course, the teams for giving us a great game, soiree for winning. And shout out to CappingTV for the Summer Brawl and these TF2 events that, keep things chugging along. Of course, to my co-casters, Snazzy, and our carrying analyst, Ghost.
I forgot to mention that as well to our casters. Whoops.
Rude.
Forgot.
It's one of those things, man. We just assume it,
In terms of shout outs from the production team, I've been told to shout out Hobbs or Maid and Liz for Mitchell. And I want to shout out Mitchell from them as well. And I'm sure, everyone else who's gone into, getting involved with this one, Just Jazz and all the other casters that have been on, has been fantastic. Also from Mitchell and the production team, shout out to Oz Fortress for helping out with letting us use the website and run the tournament through that and all that sort of thing. It's definitely a big help. From me, all I'm going to shout out is the towns of Warrnambool and Salt Free. What's the other one? Swan Hill. The town of Salt Free. We've just recently founded it. It's Salt Free on the mind. I want to shout out to Logitech for supporting Salt Free in such a great way. Be sure to go to logitech.com/saltfree. I should probably say as a plug before we throw this one out of here. Big shout out to of course all of the other people who are involved in this. Like I was saying, on Mitch's behalf, big shout out to all of them. And thanks for you guys for casting with me. That was fantastic. Ozfortress Season 33. The post is up now, ladies and gents. So I sort of mentioned it earlier, but that was only insider info at the time. Now you can sign up. You can get your dirty little selves in there, and you can get your fragging going for the whole next season. It's going to be fantastic. A little bit of fat artwork by Jen. We love to see it. It's actually a pretty good one, eh? But it always is from her. In any case, thank you all for tuning in. It's been lovely having you. The final shout out, as always, is going to be to the viewers. But just before that one, shout out to Omicron youth. Really happy about Omicron. But yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in. We wouldn't do this without you. And I look forward to seeing you in whatever we have coming up for you next. There's always more to come, so stay tuned. Peace. Have a good one.